Button. Hello. Hello, everybody. I almost choked on some soda. Hello, everybody. It's me, Bugboy1014, and I'm here with Zokoi.
Hello.
And we're here. We spent a lot of time discussing what his character was doing, and we basically came to the conclusion that he's probably going to be stronger than he realized it's going to be next session.
Unexpectedly, might I add.
Yeah, we did the numbers and realized that he effectively was able to cram like 5 months of training in 4 months due to how things work.
Yep.
Yeah, by him just doing extra hours and making constitution rolls because of how high his constitution is. So in this session, we are here. Let me close your character sheet. We are here to do some invention, yes?
Correct.
Let me play some fitting music.
Very well.
Do I have some smithing music? Blacksmith shop
What would
music?
be?
Let me find some blacksmith shop music. Sorry, we're doing this live. I should have prepared this beforehand.
Yeah, it's fine. Just so we know what we're doing. We actually have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that does remind me. We have to do some offer bargain thing tomorrow.
What did you
Yeah.
say?
I have to do some offer with Jaden tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, he told me that he doesn't think he'll be able to do it tomorrow.
Okay. And by me.
All right, here we go. Here's something more fitting. Let me know when you can hear it.
Ah, yes. Sound of the hammer hitting the anvil. Birds were chirping.
The birds are chirping. The flowers are singing. It's a wonderful day to go out for a picnic.
Yes.
All right. Now as we open up here, we are faced with the Yellow Submarine. No. I don't know why I made me think of that song. Um, all right. So, you wanted to create some items, yes?
Yes.
What did you want to make first?
Let's start with something a little easy, basic. A dragon, dragon forged. Oh yeah, dragon forged, silver shield.
All right. Silver with silver skills?
Yes.
All right. Are you going to be putting any sort of infusion or magical property into it?
Let's see. What would be a smart one?
There's a
Maybe with my
multitude.
witty.
There's a multitude of magical shields out there. Go ahead and look through either Wikidot or your things to see if you can find one, and I'll let you know if your character reasonably would know about it.
I'm thinking immediately of repulsion or the one that scales with my artificer level.
Oh, the repulsion shield's not a bad idea. I would personally. I mean, what type of when is there repulsion a reaction?
Let me double check that, because that I do not have a clear memory of.
Yeah, I would double check that because I know it's at least a +1 shield. I know that.
Right. And then there's another that's a +1, and then later in artificer levels it's +2.
Yeah. That's enhanced defense.
Right. Let's
You
take a look.
you also could just straight up make a +1 shield if you wanted to. I will say the repulsion shield would be the equivalent of a rare item, Whereas just a +1 shield is only uncommon. And also, a +1
Um,
shield does not require attunement, whereas where the repulsion shield does.
+1 shield. I'll just do the enhanced defenses.
Well, you don't even need to do enhanced defense, but sure, you could. I guess
I
it's
mean,
just straight
Garrett
up better.
scales.
Yeah. All right. So you do the +1 shield. So all right, you are making effectively an uncommon magic item in this case.
Pretty much.
So are you going to be making this out of any special materials? Do you know of any?
What do you mean special? I mean, I'm using the second skill set. I don't know if there's much else special material I know of.
Just checking, like mithril or something. I don't know.
Oh, right? No, he wouldn't have enough mithril to do this. Then adamantium, that's something I discover far later. Oh, I know of
Well,
it, this character, but I just don't know where to find it.
yeah, I don't know where to find a good amount of it, and I doubt you'd want an obsidian shield.
Yeah,
Are you going to be making it of ironwood, though? Ironwood could be a reasonable material that you can get access to.
what's the advantages of ironwood?
It doesn't have. It isn't affected by heat metal.
True.
It doesn't have the disadvantages of it. The only disadvantages of metal it retains are disadvantages that both metal and wood have. So it has some of the properties. It has the beneficial properties of metal and wood without any of the downsides of either, unless they both share the downside. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I sort of, this require woodworking though.
I figured that you could probably convince Cathangless to just make you some ironwood.
Probably. Um, it is smarter. My character isn't picky about material, so sure, I'll go fire and wood.
Okay. And we don't need to do that. We don't need to do the whole conversation on camera. I figured that's something to just have on camera because it should be a pretty
Yeah,
reasonable request for him to give you ironwood.
yeah, it's not that hard to make like a block of iron wood.
Yeah, because it literally is just making a block of wood into the shape of this. Um, though that probably means that his character would be involved in creating this thing, but we're just gonna say he's here.
Right, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, he's just here helping. And Raiju's it. Yes, Raiju's there too.
And
Of course he is. Either way, start making your rolls. You need 4 smithing, 1 leather workers, and then 1. Actually, sorry, no, 3 smithing, 1 tinkers, 1 leather workers, and 1 arcana.
how many hours will it take? 'Cause I already know how much
8.
gold. Right, and it's 8 gold. Yeah,
That's without the assistant. Do you want to do the assistant?
yeah, that's why I'm subtracting
Okay,
8 gold immediately.
then it would be 4 if you have the assistant because it's cut in half. It'll be 8
Oh,
cents.
right, why is it cut in half?
You said you wanted the assistant thing. You
Oh, all right. I'm not complaining. I'm taking it. I'll take it.
so
Right.
you're
So how?
paying the 1 gold per hour for the assistant.
Right. Oh, if Fred can do the same thing as squeezing a monk in, if not extremely easy. I,
Dread
I,
could because Dread is immune to exhaustion. He actually could do it as far as he wants to, but the problem is he has to find trainers who can do that too.
right,
Because
but right,
yes,
I was gonna suggest not another feat, but or class or whatever. I was gonna suggest Ed book. A book of a cantrip that could Thangless already help make. I don't know. Well, it would only. What would it take? It would only take. Uh,
actually, one moment, I have an idea.
yeah.
Fox is just now messaging me about something else, and so I was like, "Hey, mind hopping in a call from you with Zokoi for a little bit?"
It should be entertaining. Wait, yeah, let me finish my thing. So, he gave me the book, well, a book of guidance, because he helped make one. Or I helped him make one.
Cool.
Technically, because basically, Dredd could easily would do what I do. So he could push it to 10 hours reasonably. So, in theory, he could. Yeah, he could learn guidance reasonably
Yeah,
within that
well,
time
keep in
frame.
mind, the books are 16 hours of study over the course of one day.
Oh,
The books
oh,
are different because they're 1 week. They only take 1 week, but they take 16 hours during each day. Regardless of exhaustion levels or anything, they can only be studied 16 hours every 24 hours.
okay. Well, work. No, it, I think it would work. Because, yeah, yeah. So it still work, but it just works differently. Um,
Yeah, the books just work. The books just operate a little bit differently, is the thing.
yeah, but it doesn't cut into time in this instance, thankful. I guess Fred could have guidance. Would have thought.
Okay. Well, either way, that doesn't impact the assistant, but it does impact guidance. So, Dread has guidance.
Da, 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 da. Don't copyright. Oh God.
To
Look, man, I don't know how the fuck copyright like is gonna strike, which is not nice.
be fair, I
Uh,
don't either. I don't usually get copyright other than on YouTube, and occasion it's only on occasion, and it's usually like 10-second snippets on YouTube.
thankfully, you can cut it out.
I
YouTube
can
allows
if
that.
it's short enough, but if it's a 6-hour live stream, it's too long for YouTube to cut out a snippet. So I just kind of have
Right,
to accept the fact that I can't monetize those.
right. That's good work. I mean, on Twitch and YouTube, that would be enough, probably. Anyway, all right, got off track. I'm just.
Don't mind Zokor, he's just singing a song.
Yeah, copyright. No, no. Why does copyright have to exist over like such a small thing? Uh, thing.
Either way, what else are you making while we're waiting for? I guess no, because we're currently still waiting for Fox to reply.
All right. Um. Aside from that, oh yeah, okay. So the full list is a shield made from silver scales of a dragon and iron wood with the enhanced defense infusion on top of that. And then we have, after that, a. Okay. God, that scared me. I'm not hearing that on my computer.
Sorry, and
And
yes,
it,
I am still streaming live.
yeah, that's why I didn't do anything with the voice.
Sorry if I interrupted you, Fox. I just get you involved because currently I'm doing something where Sokorai wants to use Ironwood for a thing, and you started messaging me, so I'm like, hey, might as well bring it in.
I mean, yeah. Let's see. What other thing? Actually, since we're on the topic of things,
Sorry if this is intrusive. I figured you'd want to be involved, though, Fox. I don't know if you don't want to be. You don't have to be. That's okay.
I kind of do. I'm curious on what's happening.
He's currently crafting items, and he he was bringing up the stuff. He wanted to be like +1 mobile, and I brought up the subject of, do you want to use any exotic materials? He's like, he didn't know of any. So then we started talking about. He's like, well, he doesn't have enough mythball. He doesn't have access to adamantium. He doesn't want to make an obsidian. I'm like, well, what about ironwood? And he was like, well, what's the benefit of it? I mentioned, well, it has the benefits of metal and wood without the downsides of either. It's immune to heat metal. He goes, well, yeah, I guess it would. I'm like, well, I guess you need Cathangless there with the ironwood cantrip to help. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, we could just do it off camera. We don't really need Cathangless here, like directly. We just put his player character there with Raiju, and then you started messaging me, so I was like, oh, hey, Fox is actually here, so I can actually bring it up.
Timing is fun. Yes.
Yes, sorry for interrupting your message, Fox. I just
No.
so I think I caught you up to speed with what's currently going on. So
Indeed.
I'm going to drag Cathangless and Raiju out there, and what the hell is this? Yui Orbital.
What?
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
No! I get the surprise!
It's you?
Zokra didn't see anything, so.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't see the little.
I just thought of the pun and I like the pun.
I don't get it. I'm not the smartest in the world, so I don't get the pun.
By the way, you saw nothing.
Yeah, I saw nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay. There is Cathangless with his 69 HP.
Does he have the most? No, Hera and Jiro have the most HP in the party.
Oh, yeah. And I know there's others that have more HP than that, currently.
Logically, besides Hera and Joe, logically the most HP for someone level 7.
I'm pretty sure Dracul has more HP than you.
I was
Oh,
gonna
62!
say,
Survive 62!
Oh, wow, he rolled terribly for his HP. I forgot about that.
why did he not take his average HP? It's just not smart to roll.
He is stubborn!
Oh god, well, that's gonna get him less or more HP for the gamble.
Okay, so something to note right now, and you missed this by the way. Zokra is surprisingly stronger than we previously anticipated he would be, because of careful use of cramming.
Yes.
And
Of what?
careful
It's
use of
basically more
cramming,
efficient. Sorry.
aka cramming more training time. He effectively got because of doing 10 hours of training per day instead of 8, due to risking exhaustion and the fact that he has a +6 to his constitution saving throws.
Why is he on +6?
Because he's not. Artificer is proficient in constitution, and his constitution's already high. So he's a +3 from his constitution stat, and then a +3 from his proficiency.
Why does a Cathangless have a chance of doing that? What is my HP? Where's my con modifier?
There's nothing to say that Cathangless doesn't have the opportunity to potentially do that.
It's never mind. It's not as high as I thought.
Right.
Ah,
The main thing is you never brought it up.
I thought I did once, and you're like, he can't.
Oh, you can potentially. It's just you
How much
would have to
fun.
roll. Because here's
yeah, like,
the thing. You're at a +2, so the 9th one you'd have to roll, and then the 10th one you'd have to roll. And again, you could potentially have problems at that point. It's because with him, the reason why he doesn't have to roll for the 9th one is because he's already so high that the +6 is higher than the DC required.
beginning, I
It's
just
fine.
auto win every time.
We're gonna talk this later. I want to do this.
Oh god, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you, bug.
It's fine, but basically he crammed 5 months worth of training in 4 months, is what he did.
Yep.
By
I took
adding
your
in a
advice.
10th hour. So if you only add in a 9th hour, then you could cram like 4.5 months of training into 4 months, basically.
Yes, it's 2 extra.
But
Right.
that ended up meaning that he actually got other things, but that's besides the point. Currently he's making a shield.
About time we make a shield.
Yes. He's making a enhanced defense +1 shield, and he wants to make it out of ironwood. And he's also infusing it with silver dragon scales. Sorry, he's not infusing it. He's dragon forging it with silver dragon scales.
Does he have silver?
Honoree's little pet.
Karsoka.
Remember, that thing's a silver dragon. So let's go from that.
That's how he has silver scales, because of Karsoka.
Yep.
Because Hunari and Zokurai had an interaction not too long ago.
But I'll keep that a surprise for our stream. If you want to mess with that, go watch the other stream. Well, actually, no, that was off camera. Sorry.
No, that happened off camera. That was entirely off camera because of the fact that we thought it was going to be some minor thing and ended up being a big thing. But it was already happening off camera, so I'm like, I'm not going to suddenly turn the camera on or something. And now Zokurai has muted himself because of something. So, are you effectively caught up to speed, Kathang? So, do you need me to tell you anything more?
Okay, sorry. I had to say something. Someone said, where the fuck are we?
Fox? Are you effectively caught up to speed, Fox, or is there anything else I need to tell you?
I just wanted to take that out.
That wouldn't necessarily be that bad. That might be difficult.
I'm so mad at myself. I could have gotten the other thing. Learned and done. The other thing. I'll tell you after. Just to spoil the surprise of what I'm gonna. Okay. Oh, that sucks. At least. Sad. Anyway. Alright, so shield. Yes. What do I need to roll for the shield?
So, Kathang, this won't really be helping with much of the crafting because he doesn't need to, for the most part. You hired an assistant, but he will be helping you shape the ironwood just because it's his cantrip shaping it. So,
Right.
that's why I said he kind of needed to be directly here because he has to do the thing and it only has like a short range. So,
yeah. You got me another idea to do for seeing what I could do later on, Bug.
Yep. Keep in mind, by the way, if you have a level of exhaustion, it gives you disadvantage on all ability checks for the rest of that day until you take a long rest. So you can't do it too much, or else you might end up screwing up some of your crafting times.
Right.
I know.
Okay, so start making your rolls. You have 8 rolls to make, 5 of which will be smithing, 1 of which will be leather workers, 2 of which will be tinkers, and 1 will be arcana. Nice.
What was the other ones?
Keep in mind, by the way, these are DC 15? Yeah, these are DC 15. So
Let's see.
How did you mastercraft it already?
Yeah, I mastercrafted it in 4 rolls.
Yeah,
I'd argue, but then again, my potion making skills.
You mastercrafted it already. Okay, and now you need to make 2 tinkers. Sorry, 1 tinkers, 1 leather workers, and 1 arcana.
I don't have leather workers, so I'm assuming that's a deck.
Yeah, just do dex for that one. Or sleight of hand. Sleight of hand is the other way to do that one.
Oh my god, I barely got that.
Yeah, well,
you
passed, at
just
least.
barely.
What was the last one?
Arcana. Okay, well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got enough 30s that you managed to mastercraft it. So you now own a mastercrafted enhanced defense ironwood silver dragon shield. What variant of mastercrafting do you want it to be?
2. +2.
Okay, so that means that it's getting a plus. So first off, the shield inherently gives you a +2 to AC. It's giving you additional +1 because it's Dragon Forge. It's giving you additional +2 because it's mastercrafted. It's giving you additional +1 from enhanced defense.
Wait, so 2, 1, 2, 1. That's 6.
That's-
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
You see why I wanted to magic craft the glamour one.
Right, but you didn't manage because it's basically a rare magic item, which means you had to be rolling 40s or higher.
But I can always make another set of armor.
Yeah, but yeah. Also,
Yeah.
you when you see this Cathangless, he is wearing his new threads, and they're very fancy looking.
Interesting.
And you also recognize, actually, Cathangless, make a nature or survival check or arcana check.
Reminder: I could add on the 1d4 to survival. This is the primer.
Okay, then do survival if you want to do it.
Yeah. And iron.
Let me just show you how basic this can become.
What sense are you giving yourself?
Knowledge from the past, guidance, and primer.
Okay, you're able to tell from your 20 or higher roll. You only roll it once.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Was it the same number? I think it's the same number that I rolled twice.
anyway, you're able to tell from your 20 or higher roll that, and no, it's not the same number. That the clothes he is wearing, the armor he is wearing, the material it's made out of, comes from the Feywild.
You're stealing my gimmick now, aren't you?
Really?
To be fair, I did set the DC at 20 for him to notice that.
Oh, that's a conversation. Let's see. We might actually get a conversation out of that.
Sure, let's see what happens.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Sure. Conversation. Let's go. I guess I'll start it out. Well, no. Good thing let's notice. So who started?
He already said his thing. He said, "You're stealing my gimmick, are you?"
All right.
I can easily sense things from my plane.
Really. Really. Oh, God. We're not doing.
What type of dragon scales did you make it with, by the way, Zokor?
What type of what?
What type of dragon scales did you make it with, by the way?
Silver.
No, the armor.
Oh, the armor out of his.
Yeah, so he's using your own scales in his armor, I will point out, Cathangless.
But
Does look nice on you.
I guess it's just the most efficient thing I could pick out. Really.
Where did you get it from, though?
Hmm?
Where?
Your scales or the silver ones?
The outfit itself.
Oh, that Harold Gerald went hunting and felt as payment, partial payment for me upgrading his brother's crossbow because he got all a little whiny about it. I gave him a little bit of a hey, pat on the shoulder, give me the furs, and I'll let you slide off mostly. You just need a favor later.
Things just looks at his cookbook. They do have a natural inclination to get interesting stuff now, do they?
Also, make an insight check, Cathangless.
Oh, see.
You didn't roll anything, Zokor. I'm just having you make insight for a specific reason.
Fine by me. Also, I'm realizing does the equipment I have on not auto do it? I have to do it myself.
You have to manually choose to turn into clothes, yes.
Um,
Also, from your insight, you can tell that Zokarai means no ill content whatsoever, and he's being perfectly honest with how he got it.
To be fair, you usually say if you're annoyed. You have not been one to hide your emotions easily.
Well, I can. do you think I got so far?
You can, but do you want to?
No. Too boring. And also not many business, per se.
If it wasn't for the fact that I already have an amazing armor already, I'd try to find my own kind of fake clothing.
And what outfit? Oh, yes, the one I made for you. I remember.
Hey, Zokoid, do you still have more of those furs? I forget.
Oh, yeah, I only used, like, what, 1/4 of the entire
Do
bag.
you show Cathanglis the rest of them? They're probably in your bag of holding. You can probably pull them out.
First of all, that's gross because they're not cured and they smelled before. Second, sure. I guess there's no reason to hide it. He already knows I have the hides anyway.
Mind if I test something out with them?
I sort of do mind. Are they gonna be fine?
Fox, you do realize these are very valuable hides, so you should probably not waste them. Whatever you're doing.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Like, yes, I do mind. What
Very well, I won't touch it then. Don't worry.
good?
I'm honestly
Uh,
curious what you want to do to experiment with
I,
them.
hey, I asked what he wanted to do before I even thought of giving him.
Did he say which beast it came from, by the way?
I don't
Uh,
know. A
uh,
deer thing, right?
yeah, it was stags. You mentioned it stags. It was from a very big and like a very big stag with a lot of antler, with like antler with a lot of like horn sections. It was one very big animal that this fur came from.
Just don't kill it so easily.
You, Fox, looking at this, you're actually marveled that even with their crossbows, that they managed to take such a thing down. It's actually a little impressive that Harold and Gerald managed to do that.
Yeah, they've shocked me in the past before, and they'll always do it again.
Uh, Sylvester pipes up and says, "It is just the way of the wilds, isn't it, little druid?"
Indeed, it is. I've been trying to understand the way of the wilds for a long time.
And to be fair, it's not like they wasted the meat. What do you think some of that meat was in the food that you ate?
Hmm, to be fair, that was delicious, and as much as I hate to admit it, I do like consuming meat more than my family ever did.
Sebastian's chuckling and says, "It is predatory attacks are just a part of nature, just as much as herbivores are."
I just, at the same time, I'm worried that I'm not putting up a good image for, well, my species.
What separates a what separates a monster from an animal is whether or not they waste their food. Monsters hunt simply for the sake of hunting and do nothing with their quarry, whereas animals hunt only to survive and eat, and to use their quarry for hide.
I think, in my humble opinion, is not a druid.
Hunting, I'll never stop myself.
All right. Anything else in this conversation?
I was gonna say, in my opinion, something, but never mind. Never mind.
You can say your opinion. That's fine. So, Sylvester just want to add that a little bit.
Yeah. My opinion, yeah, sure, a monster is something that just hunts. But I think there's a middle ground somewhere that humanoids sort of draw a little bit. They don't use everything. They do hunt for the fun of it, or for the sake of it. But they do use the parts for the most part, depending from person to person. So I think that's not a very fair statement.
True, and I would be hypocritical if I haven't said there have been times I went to the Feywild or the wild outside and actively hunted with Raiju to eat some creatures.
Yeah, but that's
It's
different.
kind of
You still
freeing.
eat. I don't know. In any case, I guess let's move to the second piece of today's to-do list. Oh, yeah. Six. I guess we can get something else done as long as we don't kill the. Yeah. All right. That conversation's done. All right. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay. And now you're gonna.
So I want to let you know, if I am hunting,
What are you doing?
please do try.
Sorry, I was talking to Zokai. My bad.
Like just fixing a thing because
He just
no,
finishes
I,
off with saying, I do warn you, if I am trying to hunt, don't get in my way, please. I don't want to accidentally harm you.
I'm trying to figure out why your shield isn't doing anything because
yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out for my armor too. That's why I was like confused.
Put it in the modifier section.
Yes.
we did that already and it's not changing. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, it's still just showing
weird.
up as armor class 15.
I don't know why. I messed that.
Don't know why either. Let me be the one to figure that out though. You work on the other stuff.
Oh, give me my to-do list for the second piece of armor. Can't do anything by looking in this section of things. But yeah, give me the list of checks so I can just start rolling.
Okay, I fixed it. I fixed it.
How did you fix it?
That's good.
I had to turn off the global AC modifiers that you had on.
Oh, I don't know what. I thought that was gonna add to it straight up.
It was supposed to
Oh,
add to it, but also because you had them on when you put on the new armor, it didn't recheck what your AC is supposed to be.
I didn't know that would happen.
It sometimes glitches like that. And
So
now
if I turn
we turn those
on,
back on.
well, get rid of the infusion one because that one doesn't count. Because I already have an infusion on the shield. Unless I do a temp infusion on the armor itself.
Okay. Either way.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so what else are you making?
What else was I?
Besides the gun. Besides that, what else are you making?
Yeah, I said the armor. That was the next one.
Oh, the armor
You
for
still
Dread?
need my talents in Ironwood, Zokurai.
Do you want to make... Well, what kind of armor are you making for Dread, actually? That actually would impact whether or not you need Ironwood or not.
I just basically love it like the same type of armor I did for myself, except not glamored, like
If
scale
you're
and then
using the
enhanced defense.
hide, if you're using the hide, it's going to be glamored studded leather. If you're using the hide from
There's no
the Feywild, I mean.
point. Well, there's less I can do if I use the hide, so there's no point. I might as well just use normal hide.
Yeah, if you want to just use normal hide, you could do that. Too bad. Actually, Cathangless.
Hmm?
You went to the agriculture faction, didn't you, to do training to become Moon Druid? You could give Zokurai access to Greenweave, not because you could make it, but because you could guide him to the agriculture faction. He could buy it from them.
That would depend if Cathangus wants to.
Okay, the thing
Which
that's
odds are
one.
yes.
Okay.
I was about to say, because are you two going to go into even more of a feud again? Because honestly, that's.
Oh, put it like that. Anyway, let's see. 12. So
So
two.
you could potentially make it out of Greenweave for him, which would help. Actually, it would help him blend in, be more stealthy.
Yeah, I don't mind making out a green leaf. I'm down for that.
All right, because let's talk about what Greenweave does. So I'm going to make Greenweave known to you. If it
All
isn't
right.
already, I think it might already be. And I'll remind everyone at home what Greenweave does. So, I'll go ahead and say, by the way, first off, um, that you making it arcane armor for Dread?
Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. You know what? You know what? Because he's my special little buddy. Sure, I'll make him arcane armor.
Okay, that means that he will already have the infiltrator thing on there, which means that he'll have advantage on stealth checks.
Oh, yes, and he'll have 35 normal movement speed. He'll actually be able to run faster than he flies.
Yep.
Uh,
And that's on top of Greenweave being a thing. So I'm going to now make Greenweave visible. Oh wait, it's already visible to you. Okay. If you look in your thing, you should be able to see it. So Greenweave. Greenweave's rarity is not due to blah blah blah. Creation, natural properties. Greenweave blends in with surrounding greenery. When located in an area of considerable plant life, greenweave items count as slightly obscured, even if they normally wouldn't be. And they always require a passive wisdom perception score of 10 to be noticed. Ignore this property if the size, shape, or of specific surroundings to be blatantly obvious. In addition, the material is very much suffused with druidic power, allowing the user of the druidcraft cantrip to quickly mold and shape the fabric in the field. In this case, it means that Cathanglis could use his druidcraft cantrip to help you make this in the workshop after you guys grab the raw material. However, when being worn as armor, when located in an area of considerable plant life, like the wilderness outside of the city of Emplane, a creature wearing greenweave counts as lightly obscured, even if it normally wouldn't be, and it can attempt to hide even when only lightly obscured. In addition, the creature gains advantage on stealth checks in an area of greenery and not moving. I'm also going to add in the fact that you also do have that natural property of them requiring a passive perception score of 10 to even notice you.
So that's not only do I, even if I didn't use infiltrator, I'd already have advantage in some places.
While
I
in
already have it all
greenery,
done.
yes. But this also does mean that in addition to infiltrator, on top of him having advantage, he always counts as lightly obscured when in greenery. And he can hide while lightly obscured as a bonus action, I'm pretty sure. Meaning that he can effectively always hide while he's in greenery.
Oh God! Well, gee, I think I may have made him the ultimate stealth person.
Yeah, he's a
So he's
really
not a
good
rogue.
stealth scout.
I
Yeah,
always want to make some of this for Raiju.
he's not even a
You
rogue.
you
That's
could
so
reasonably
funny.
make some of this for Raiju if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, you pretty good.
Greenweave is not all that expensive, all things considered. Let me look
Really?
at how much it costs.
Isn't it 15 per pound?
15 gold pieces per pound, yes. That is indeed the price of it, normally.
Oh, if we're using my badge with mercantile, then it slashed the price in half.
Yeah, you could. Well, yeah, and then you could also slash it in half again because of Cathanglis being a member of the agriculture faction.
So it would be 3.25.
Yeah, it'd be 2.25 gold pieces per pound, effectively. Which
Nice.
does that sound like a reasonable rate, Cathanglis and Fox? And
Indeed.
Zokrai?
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable considering both connections.
Okay. So that means that that means that we're gonna have a moment of Cathanglis, get in the bag.
Yes.
We're going
in
shopping.
the bag. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to do that
Raiju,
off
time
camera?
to shrink.
What was it?
Raiju, time to shrink.
Yeah. Raiju shrinks or disappears or one of the two. You both get into the bag and you go out. Do you want to do that entire shopping trip off camera or do you want to do that right now?
All right, that's up to Fox. Fox, do you want to do the entire trip?
It's up to you. I'm okay with it.
You know what? Just make the stream more entertaining. Because instead of just crafting.
Okay,
If
you're
you're
gonna have
fine
to
with
give
the
me
bug,
like
I'm down.
you're gonna have to give me like 5 minutes, like a few minutes then to find the actual map I can use.
Fine by me, Mr. God, as long as you have fun with it too.
Yeah.
God, Raiju. Oh, I can't affect him now. I was about to say, Raiju, shrink. He just turns into like a tiny thing.
No, I don't think a fisherman's shack is useful enough.
Oh, it's the fish.
You just show up at the agriculture faction. It's just the fisherman in his fisherman in his shack.
God damn it, no! What's wrong? This is Dave!
Oh God, it's Jerry. No one likes Jerry.
Jerry!
Caves map?
So great, I was like, take him!
Oh God, I could have used this as the freaking Basilisk Cave. This would have been so much better. I should have used that.
Listen, I'm not complaining.
Well, to be honest,
Oh my god, that could have worked!
Yes, it
Okay.
could have. I could have used this.
Okay, let me look on stream. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, that could have worked so much better. I've seen this map before too. Oh. Oh my god, this would have been such a good one. Damn, alright, you gotta use this for like a lair or something. This is too cool to pass up. Anyway.
Here we go. Here's something I can use. What the
Hey.
hell is that down there? Oh, that's the basement level. Okay. Yeah, I can use this as like an agriculture area because big cabins. There we go. Let me drag everyone up to the big cabins map. That's good enough. Because you got to realize the agriculture people, at least the ones that you're buying things from right now, a lot of them tend to live mostly aesthetic lifestyles in terms of they don't need that much.
May I change my appearance to keep wearing the hood and shit and hide my face, but more modest, I guess. Like instead of it looking fancy and glamorous, it actually looks more humble, I guess is the word.
Yeah, that's fine. You can make it look more humble if you want to.
Why is it? Why is everything dark?
Yeah, I was gonna say, lag.
It's not lag. It's not lag. It's called dynamic lighting.
I
God damn! I told you to turn. I told you to turn on the fireplace again.
Hold on. Let's see how bad the actual lag for this area is in terms of dragging people out here. Let's drag out Zokurai. It doesn't seem that bad. Okay, yeah, it's kind of bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need dynamic lighting for this.
Do you have like a way to like cover up the black bits? Like add black bits and then cover up certain sections of the map until you're ready?
Oh,
That's
well,
a thing.
I mean, I kind of do, but at the same time, do I really want to do that? Because
Would you rather endure me complaining about lag for like I don't know how long and not able to move my stuff?
I'd rather just turn off dynamic lighting and make the entire map visible.
I mean, still, I feel like there's like I don't know. I feel like there's techniques around it.
Get out of the bedroom. You're not in the bedroom.
Alright. Anyway. Zoom out. Oh, it's so much better.
Alright, so you both show up in
Bro.
basically what looks like a country club. But like it has the agriculture faction symbol on the top of it. And Patanglis, you recognize this wasn't as big of a place as the one in it's not the same place as the one in Implay. This wasn't as big as that, but this is definitely a headquarters for not headquarters, but like one of the main outposts for the agriculture faction. Specifically, this one's around a farming area. So this serves a lot of like rural farms and stuff.
Thanos and Raji slowly smile more.
So, there's various NPCs around inside of there, and you guys would like to go purchase some greenleaf?
Yeah.
Is there some druid stat blocks I can just drag out here?
Probably.
No!
Don't get stuck in the wall again. Why are you fucking stuck in the wall?
There's the door.
I rushed into the area, full
Oh,
force, not
there's a
even
window.
caring, and then got stuck in a wall.
This is why you
Wait,
don't rush
there-
in the area.
Wait, how the hell do you? Oh, I think there's a door over here. Yeah, there's a door here. Here on. This map's acting so weird for no reason. Where the hell's in it? I think this way should work. But nope, that's Windows.
I'm
Nope,
waiting for
that's
the lag to stop so I can actually do my thing.
hold on, let me just not do anything to see if the lag.
Thing is just like, Raiji just says, Mrs. Druid, he brought Mr. Grumpy Pants.
I'm gonna kill you. I swear to God, I will murder you. Ignore them, sorry, Master D-Bit, I guess, annoyed with the nickname. Sorry, uh,
Where'd Cathanglis go?
Please drag out properly.
Alright.
Currently, there is a lot of lag because of the fact that I'm waiting for tokens to load.
That's fair. Side of thing.
And there's just so much lag on my end. It won't work. Damn it.
Surprised there's a lot of lag on your end. For me, it runs pretty smooth.
Yeah, well, for you that is, because you're not loading in a bunch of Druid tokens.
How many are you loading in at once?
I'm loading in one stat block.
Oh, okay. That's checking.
But now I'm going to have to close Roll20 and open it again. Because it was basically frozen on me.
In the little interaction of Cathanglis entering, Cathanglis just like goes to Raiji, just like, bow, please.
You're getting ahead of me.
Let's wait. Wait till he gets back in.
Please. Sorry for the technical difficulties, stream.
Technical difficulties are always to be expected.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Shut up, birds. Birds outside.
I
They're
couldn't even
mocking me.
hear the birds. It sounds like you're just saying shut up birds and then there's no birds.
I can hear the birds outside chirping, mocking me. You can't do much better. Shut up. They're doing one chirp at a time now. Not that. Why do I have a playlist on here just called Pie Eating Contest?
Because
I love that one now.
Yeah, sure. Let's do this just to make you. Yeah.
Ooh, that did not give me good vibes.
I'm vibing with it.
It's fine.
Those are snake rattles. Those are the thing for Blink's character, but they haven't shown up, so.
Yeah.
Is
Is there any?
what?
Is there any like lizards, not hisses or snarls or whatever?
What are you asking me? Sorry, I'm looking for something, and so I'm blinking.
Is there any lizard like hisses or roars?
I don't know. I haven't looked for those.
I know what music is fitting, but I think RuneScape is copyrighted.
Wait,
Wait,
we're
is
not
this
doing
RuneScape?
RuneScape music. Okay, so I'm back into the map. The map is no longer lagging, but well, if I drag out the druids again, I bet it will start lagging.
I hope it's not the druids inherently. Oh, this is
Yeah,
cool.
those
I
stat
like
blocks are borked. Okay. Delete the stat block. Okay, so you arrive at this area.
Sure.
How will you approach things?
I guess guess let's get to the point type of
Let me go in
mentality.
first, Stan. Let me
Yeah.
go in first, Zokai, okay?
Fine, you're the resident expert and all that.
Yes, these are his people.
No, no, can I not drag myself because that makes it second me, and that lags.
The
Okay.
card is gonna be thin here and that.
All right. And as you start to walk in, Kathanglis and Raiju, you start to see that this place is a humble, well, it's a humble wooden building. There's a cozy fire to one end. There's some people sitting around the fire, eating some meat on skewers, and some others tending to plants in the corner. And just generally speaking, has a very comfortable atmosphere, a homey atmosphere. You can tell quite a few people live here, some of which are members of the agriculture faction. Others are just passerbys looking for a place to stay for the night, and even a few are refugees and orphans that don't have anywhere else to go.
Thangus and Raiju just take off the plague doctor masks that they wear.
As you do, the archdruid behind the counter smiles as they see you. And a lot of the people in the room smile. And they welcome you in. Think, come, come. What is it that
Howdy.
you need?
Me and my friend need greenweave.
Your friend, and this is when Zokai walk in. The archdruid will be here
Hello.
shortly.
Hello, how are you doing?
So let's go ahead and drag you all in there.
Please. Actually, I'll
Yay!
do it myself. Hold on.
The archdruid actually showed up. Yay, they finally showed up.
Got it. Alright.
Well, you currently dread is standing on a sofa.
No, get down!
Actually, you know, he's small enough to be on the sofa. Why isn't he on the sofa?
Because it's currently people sitting on all of these sofas.
Alright, look. I need to position myself in a better way. Move this.
Yeah.
Oh. He's here. Alright.
The thing is just like, though if I come back, I may grease you with a tune.
As you say that, you do hear one man in the corner stand up and say, "Did someone mention a tune?" As he pulls out a big old cello and starts playing music.
Oh. Fucking goddamn.
Why'd you just house along to the music as Kathangus just plays his pan flute?
And it seems there is some merriment going on inside of the place, as this seems to be the local bard.
Oh. No. Bar.
Why do I not have a commoner stat block? There we go. There's a commoner stat block. Let's get some commoners in here. Nope. I've never used a commoner stat block before, evidently. Okay.
Really?
I just dragged it out from the thing. It has to load it, so I guess I've never dragged out commoners before. There's
Shame
commoner.
on you, never using the common people. Oh, that's funny.
I like his reaction of, oh god, they're multiplying.
Let me just.
Well,
actually,
these
I'm
are
gonna
all the
test a
people
little-
sitting in these chairs, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
we'll go ahead and say there's one over here drinking.
Oh god, that's a lot of
This suit
people.
me well. But I've been actually trying at the same time to my crafting to make my own ironwood violin eventually.
I thought you already had that at this point.
This has been the past before then.
Oh. Yeah, we
Yeah.
never really established what time period this takes place in.
What month am I making all this equipment, by the way? I guess would be a good question.
We never really established that.
Let's just establish it's in the same month as him making his ironwood pan flute for the sake of sanity.
Also,
So,
I just now realized I had the dude pull out a cello, but there's a piano right here. I'm just gonna have him playing the piano that already exists. So he's actually playing the
alright,
piano, not the cello.
alright, I guess move from there and then. Yeah, that
The
makes
famous piano cello.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the bard. There's actually a bard stat block. I just dragged out a bard.
so.
Okay, so as you can see, it's quite a. Everyone's sitting around the fire, eating meat, talking. The bard is playing piano, and there's general merriment going on as the archdruid mentions, "Oh, you wish to purchase some greenleaf? We do not have any currently, but we could easily make some. Are you a druid?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful.
My name
Could
is
you help
Kathangus
us make
Hercine
some?"
Arvigale.
What was that?
Yes, Kathangus Hercine Arvigale.
I am not familiar with that name. Are you new?
Well, yes. I'm new to this plane in a way.
She
Right,
just kind of looks at you strangely, not knowing how to take that.
Apologies, apologies. It's a little joke I've done. I'm from the Feywild.
Oh, and she smiles and nods and says, "Right, why I should have recognized you," as she points to your scales.
Wait, what the? How the hell did you? Okay.
Druids tend, she's an archdruid, so it would make sense that she would have knowledge about moonstone dragons.
Oh, so she's the strongest one in this room. Got it.
And do you say that out loud?
Maybe I just mumble it to.
She
In the world of druids, I don't think it's fair to say who is more powerful than whom, by the way.
she smiles and says, "Don't worry. We get that from people all the time. Yes, I am the caretaker of this place. If it's any matter of business that you require, uh, you can come to me." And she says that because she notices your badge that you're wearing. Look right.
Oh, right. Yes, you would notice that. You're perceptive. I'll give you that. Alright. Oh, not dance around the bush. Yes,
Perception
I
is
need
the
to.
skill of
Twice
a
the most of
druid.
them are perceptive.
Without good perception, you can never be a good ranger.
Indeed.
I can understand that much. But yes, I did come for some greenleaf, walk around the place, see what this place is all about.
And as you say that, she looks at the one person sitting on the bar who's currently asleep, slumped on the bar currently. Um, After having no doubt drink a bit. She smiles and says, "There's some seats by the bar if you want to enjoy some food before you go. I could cook you something up."
If it's not a bother, I'll pay for it if you decide to cook something.
All right. I'd be
Thank
happy
you
to
so
serve
very
you.
much.
Of course. And I figure, well, okay, so she starts cook. She heads to the stove and starts cooking some food. Um, and while she's doing that, you two sit down at the bar, I'd assume.
Mm-hmm. Kathangus just pats on Raiju as he lowers him down. He just sits on a chair. Raiju just sits next to Kathangus.
And
Well,
Dread is just on Cookie's shoulder.
Oh,
Why I say that?
you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
mini Raiju time.
we're just gonna shrink Raiju down because of the fact that yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
Raiju and Dread just kind of well, he's not on the counter. Come on now.
Yeah, no.
Bye.
Put him behind you. It will have the same effect of
It's effectively the same effect, yeah. And we're doing this based on the grid, sadly. So, hey. Um. So I figured that basically you guys were going to discuss business over a meal that she creates and serves to all of you.
fine by me.
What would you like to order? You, I believe, have the living expenses thing for food. What food is available?
Hmm. Well, I
However,
can't
if
go
you
with
want an
the.
idea of what kind of food that they might have, feel free to ask if there's anything specific that you want.
I
Otherwise,
can't go.
just look in the compendium at expenses, food, drink, and lodging, and just look at some of that.
I can't go with an exotic idea. So,
I just, I was just like, sir, do you have some meat for me and Raiju?
Of
what
course.
type of?
What kind would you like? Elk, boar, buffalo, bear, perhaps?
Buffalo,
Uh, what was that?
buffalo, please, and a cheap glass of ale.
She smiles and she goes down to what can only be described as like a box that she has under the counter. That when she opens it up, you see it's filled with gray gray tubs that are filled with salted meats as they're preserving them with salt. And so she pulls
Raiju's actively holding Katanga's back at the moment.
as she pulls out a giant slab of buffalo and puts it on and starts putting it over the stove and to start cooking it. And starts
Thank you very
searing the
much.
meat. You can hear the loud sizzle in your ears.
Raiju again, just like, no.
As
Stay in control, stay in control.
Let it be the other way around. Dog
As
be.
the meat is cooking, she walks over and she reaches under the counter and pulls out a bottle of ale and hands it and sets it in front of Kathanga. Says, "Here you go. Here's your ale.
Thank you very much.
And how about you, Mr. Businessman? What would you like?"
I suppose that's accurate enough. Um, let's see. Don't have that, obviously. Uh, um, I'll just say chicken or poultry.
What was it that you requested?
Chicken, poultry, something like that.
Of course. Would goose do?
Hmm? Oh, yeah, goose. I haven't had goose, or at least not in a while.
She smiles and giggles a little bit, and then she goes back and she pulls out what can only be described as an entire goose from out of the salted meats thing, and she puts
Okay,
that on the stove as well.
that's too much too. That's way, well, yeah,
There's
that
never too
might
much
be.
when it comes to the wild, you know this.
No, that's overkill. Unless I get that.
She
Look, I
she
just.
chuckles and says, "Don't worry, nothing here ever goes to waste. You eat your fill, and then once you're done, I'll give the rest of the scraps to those who do not have food and cannot afford it.
Unhealthy.
If you
I
ever need
prepare
money,
it
I
in
can still
large batch.
supply it to you. You know this.
I prepare it in large amounts so that way it has a certain flavor and quality to it that you cannot get when making in small batches."
Or yes, that makes sense. So I guess I won't, and then they get cut off by Dread poking him really hard on the neck. Hey, Master, look, I get it. I'm cutting in a little bit. I didn't want to say anything. I sort of want to have the rest of the booze, if that's
When
fine.
you grow up hunting and get used to the wild, you tend to appreciate nature's gifts more.
So, yeah, that's sort of why I want to just have any leftover. I mean, I don't really need to eat, but, fun.
Would you like
Um,
anything to drink?
well, I'd like, um, I don't know, what would my master like? What type of alcohol do you have?
Uh, Ale, wine, rum, mead.
You have
What do you want?
martinis?
Not. We don't have that fancy city folk type of drink.
Yeah.
Most of
The
our
Dangus
stuff
just
is.
opens up a bag. If you want, I could just make you a tea.
No,
We
I'm
do
happy
offer
with
tea.
nothing.
Yes, if you would like a tea.
I mean, I don't see the function of it. I mean,
You haven't lived until you've tried some of my green tea, and she goes off to make you some green tea.
You please.
uh,
Coming right
I'm
up.
sorry. Sorry, master.
Right, you know, drinking the ale again. You know what happened to me last time.
I just picture Raiju's already taken the bottle and start to drink.
Right, you know.
You were too
Oh,
busy staring at the buffalo, and he just snuck it past you.
oh,
It's like, you get all the meat, I give the ale.
I do want to say, Dread would be, it's a bit late, but Dread would be noticeably uncomfortable with the amount of natural stuff, I guess, best term.
Funny.
There's something to remember, by the way, is that Greenweave is suffused with druidic power, meaning he would effectively be wearing nature on him all the time.
So that
That's why
would not
Raiju
be.
wants to wear something made of that.
Dread doesn't have anything inherently against nature, but doesn't exactly like. The reason why he's actually quiet this time, yes, there's a reason this time I didn't forget, is because he doesn't exactly like all the organic stuff. It just feels. He likes nature. He likes it more than the city that they went in before for the meeting, because it was sounds, peace.
Fair.
Uh,
To be fair, I always prefer nature over city. Just reminds me of my home.
and that's you, to be fair. But yeah,
Being in this place actually does remind me of home slightly. It feels cozy, relaxing.
I mean, to you, I guess, but I don't know. Home has just always been for me wherever I go with my master. So being in a super naturey place or organic or a completely felt metallic and super mystic is just not a good mix for me.
And you just pipes up so like slightly. Technically, I technically can remember in places like these, Danglis's mom would tend to sing to us and play the violin. It was very relaxing. She'd always sing lullabies.
Sounds about right. I don't know. I'm just not very comfortable here. Can I go take a second to step outside if that's fine with everybody?
Yeah, and just me and Raju just need to have a couple moments to stay in here.
Oh, hey, I think I should have some proper space. Uh, and with that, Dread would temporarily leave outside just to take a breath. Yes, I actually had to go take a breath. I really should put this in character trees. Look at them. Anyway, yes, they're just here.
Danglis just calmly patting Raju.
Hey, no, I said they were gonna be out there.
I know, but I'm actually having them move out there.
How do you move the? I don't know the layout of the doors.
See?
I couldn't move through those before. I don't know why you can move.
This is a door.
I know I couldn't move through that like either of those two sections. For some reason.
Okay.
Before.
Also,
I can't move
Cathanglis,
them.
make a perception check, Cathanglis.
Okay, give me a moment.
Oh, right. Can you remind me how to do that thing where it's like
Click and drag the token and then right click while you're still holding it and a yellow arrow will pop up. Then if you wanted to like stop at a spot and then turn a different direction. Then you right click on that point without letting go, and it will make a point that it will go to. And then you can just keep doing
Sorry.
that over and over and over until you make your entire path.
So left then right click.
Yeah.
Hold. I
Hold left
Does
and
always
then
do
right click.
this?
hold
Like
left.
this,
click
for
right.
example.
I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
It's fine. Why did you roll? What happened?
What the fuck? Why'd you roll all this? Oh, the blue color is nice for when you get a fail and a success. That's nice.
It is. So, you did notice, by the way, Cathangless. I'm not sure if you physically noticed the token moving, but you did feel a familiar aura of decay moving around the building and outside of it before Dread went out there.
Thing just
That's
smirks.
right.
It's just like, how long have you been waiting?
Well, he's not here. They're not here currently. You just felt something move through the building, and it didn't seem like it was interested in you, but you did feel
Oh,
it.
that's new.
Either
I
way,
guess, would I get a chance to notice this? Or would it only be Cathangless for the sake
it would
of
only be
reason?
well, it would only be Cathangless because of the fact that it's specifically related to one school that he's from.
Oh. Okay, fine by me. Not gonna. I can come. Right,
Either
go on,
way,
go on.
I must be seeing things again.
yeah.
Let's
Either
see,
way,
what else?
you want to talk to the. You get served this food in front of you, and it's big. It's you each get served a dinner plate that is like covered in meat. Like the entire
Uh,
dinner plate is covered in meat.
this is gonna be so rude, but I would like to try and identify. Not use the spell identify. Just try to identify it.
So you trying to detect whether or not there's any poisons or anything in it.
Well,
English
not
doesn't care. He
just
just eats it.
not just that, but also the quality of it. But
Are
yes, that
you
too.
proficient in cook's utensils?
And what chances?
Are you proficient in cook's utensils?
No, I'm not perfecting utensils.
Okay. Are you proficient in either
Yes.
medicine or survival?
Medicine, no. Survival, no. I have good investigation, but that's or insight. Insight, I have decent
English
insight.
just looks at him. Need my assistance for something?
Then you're going to actually roll raw wisdom.
Oh, right. Oh, 15, let's go.
You rolled
Not bad.
charisma, not wisdom.
Oh, shit. Why did I wait? I was one thing under. Alright. Damn it. Of course.
You don't
Alright.
detect anything.
English just looks at him. Are you alright?
Yes, yes, yes. Serving quality is all.
All you detect is that the food smells delicious.
Uh,
There's no need to be worried about the food.
I'm not worried about my perception.
Trust me, nobody in here would be willing to poison someone like you or me.
The archdruid pipes up and says, "So, let's talk
Hmm.
business. You wanted some glamour weave, did you?
Indeed, we did.
Yeah,
Green
I
weave.
do want
Apologies, not glamour weave. Green weave.
green weave. Yes, yes,
He
sorry.
wants some green weave for, well, Rouge over here, and he wants some green weave for his pets.
Mind you, is that the name
Excuse
of your...
me.
Apologies, I
Rouge
did
is
not mean to
hi.
interrupt.
Do you want to say that again, buddy?
But she just apologized for interrupting.
No,
It's
not
alright,
you.
it's alright. Don't worry about it.
You're okay. I wasn't addressing that anger towards you. You're okay. Sorry. But the thing is, want to say that again?
It was just a joke. To take things more
Good,
lightly.
good, good. And my apologies. Anyways, back to the deal. what was it?
So
Greenwave?
I have
Yeah.
to ask, what would you be using it for?
Just simply making some armor. Oh,
Looks like you could.
clothing?
Looks like you have some pretty fine clothing yourself. Who is it army
Yeah.
for? Is the armor just for the wolf, or is it also for that little bot that you got with you?
Thread, not a bot.
His
But
thing is a
yes.
homunculus servant, actually.
Really? A
Built it
mechanical one?
himself.
What do you mean a mechanical one? There's non-mechanical homunculus?
Well, yeah.
You'll
There's
be
those flash
surprised.
ones. There's those flash ones that wizards make sometimes.
That is disgusting.
I
I say
agree. They're
disgusting. I say
abominations
interesting.
on nature.
You know what? I think we can agree on that one for once. Wait, wait.
You say disgusting. I say interesting. I want to learn more.
He kind of
Uh,
looks at you with a sideways glance, like, wait.
wait.
You want to know what
Really?
I've been through?
I know what you've been through, and that still disgusts me. You want to know how those things are made?
He just kind of shrugs his shoulders and just basically has the expression of, whatever floats your boat.
Anyway, yes, for bread, I would like some of that green weave to make some clothes. So I'm slowly regretting that choice because it doesn't seem like he's comfortable with a pure organic setting.
Did
Have
you
you
just
ever,
listen?
have you wondered
Hi.
why?
I know why. He explained it well a little bit, but to give a little more clarification, even though I travel around a lot, doesn't mean he's comfortable everywhere we go.
Oh, also, Raiju and Cathanglis, you both drank from the ale, right?
Yes.
Make one
Hey,
round of
why do?
sobriety checks.
Oh Jesus!
What round of what now?
Sobriety checks for the drunkenness rules.
Yes.
Good, just the Constitution.
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it's Constitution, and I'm pretty sure it's a DC 10 to start with. Yeah, round one of drinks, DC 10. It's a Constitution saving throw. Anyway, continue Zokurai while he rolls this.
Uh, yeah. Honestly, even though we go to 100 different places, every place is comfortable. Some cities rarely are more advanced than others, full of cobble or even metal. The others are more natural. He prefers a mix of the two. Not, you know, the average homunculus, I guess, is one way to put it.
He just kind of smiles and says, "Hmm. We stopped to talk to him about it, whether or not he wants this."
Thinking about it right now, actually, I should probably excuse myself after I'm done eating my fill. No, don't get rid of it. Well, get rid of it in quotes. Yeah, he'll eat it anyways.
Of course,
Um,
go tend to your friend.
I with
All right.
that, I look. I don't know how to move this goddamn thing. Do not. Why can't I get the door? Wait. No. Why can't I get out the door? Shit. Okay. Good.
I moved
Yeah,
you
really.
across to the other side. There you go.
Thank you. Anyway, I guess good thing unless you can have your conversation with the Archfey for a little bit.
Archdruid. There's a
Whatever.
difference.
Yes, I
Okay.
know there's a difference. Get wrong
So,
with it.
Raiju and Cathanglis, you guys have another round of drinks? Okay. As you do another round of drinks, I'll have you make another sobriety test. And while that happens, Zokurai and Dread are going to have to talk.
Good old buddy. Ah, there you are. I figured I know where you would step out. Usually around a wall or around a corner, away from the mirrors and windows. You doing alright? Yeah, yeah, I'm doing okay. Just, I knew I wasn't gonna like this place much. It's nothing against the people. You have more of an issue with the people, to be honest. Mister, I'm always cranky. Watch it. Yes, I get that you're not comfortable with this place. Are you sure you're good with the idea of being my little scout? The armor and all, we could probably find something out. I'm I'm sure. I gotta get over this anyway, and if not get over it, just get used to it. I don't think I'm ever gonna like the energy of nature or presence. Well, I like the presence, but not an overwhelming presence of nature. Not pure nature, like close to here. But I can deal with it, not just for you, but also for myself. And my upgrades, they felt stronger, better, more useful than I ever have been. I want to upgrade further without, upgrading my body in a weird way. Yes, very well. I'll give you the luxury of that. You're gonna be my little scout after all. So that's already payment enough. And you have to endure something you don't exactly enjoy. Then, are you ready to close out the deal? Or do you mind if I hang around a little longer while you go in and out of here?
All right. Is that the conclusion of your conversation?
I fucking why the hell is it lagging? Why right now? Oh no, it's lagging, it's lagging, it's lagging like hell. It's lagging like hell.
You might want to turn voice mod back on.
I wanna mm, mm, uh on
Actually, I'm just gonna have myself speak this.
Okay, we're going to be switching to the conversation between the Archdruid and Cathanglist until Zokoi fixes his stuff. So, yes, their conversation has been going on in both Holy Chat, if you've been noticing.
I I never really saw that much of my own kind, if that makes sense. Just me and my mom.
She nods and says that they often live in solitude, from what I've heard. That would make sense. Though, I feel sorry for that being the case. They were quite pretty, Jarvan.
I try to be like one. I try to hope I'm like one.
You got the scales for it. Just keep up being yourself. You'll eventually figure it out.
I
Right,
mean, my
back.
family
Good.
was always very, very powerful and interesting. I try to be like them.
Just be yourself.
I mean,
Don't try to be something that you're not. Just try to be something that you are.
last time I did, I accidentally put someone in a nightmare. That's just because I was hiding who I am.
She doesn't quite know what to make of the nightmare comment, but she just kind of brushes it off and just thinks you're exaggerating and just says, given what I've seen of you, you clearly are someone that will figure out everything on your own eventually. Things just kind of work out in life. I am.
Raju just
Have,
said, well, he is Prince of the Wild. I am nothing. Not that
have,
interesting.
have you fixed your mic? Is that okay?
I did. I was waiting for a good time to cut back in.
Okay, there's a good
Actually,
time.
it's quite ironic that he came in the Raju just legit says like, well, I mean, he is the Prince of the I am nothing. Actually, very
No,
special.
can I get in there? Can I just like walk back in with red
Yeah,
hair?
you can
At
just
that
walk
exact-
back in right there.
You don't know how the fuck you phase me through the wall, but you need to phase me through the wall.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, I literally don't know why I can't go through the door.
The door rejects you.
The
I'm not
door
a
is
druid, so
ajar.
maybe.
The door is ajar. The door is ajar. The door is
I'm
ajar.
sitting on the table.
I get the reference. I'm not on the table. I'm on the stool. Actually, other way around.
I do know why it stops you, by the way.
Why.
Oh,
It's because even though dynamic lighting is off, it still actually has dynamic lighting things there. And one of the settings on is that dynamic lighting sections block movement. But technically speaking, the doors are counting as blocking movement, which is kind of silly, but whatever. Now I'm turning that off so that way the doors no longer block movement. That make sense?
things just idly glaring at Raiju as he like almost said it, just like, "Oh, we promise we'd never tell anyone."
little princey, I see.
I am no nobility.
Yes, no nobility. Doesn't matter to me.
By the way, this is the door. This is a door as well. Oh, right, you can't see that ping. I'm on the lighting layer. Hold on.
Ah, do you think it's secret?
This one. This is also a door.
I can tell. Like, there's little sections, like pieces, like the.
You should be able to
No,
move through the doors now, by the way.
let me try. Yay! I can move through the doors finally. All right.
Let's just say, Zokurai, my family had a lot of power. I will leave it at that.
Not like I'm curious to know more. It's not at the moment, so better to me. In any case,
The archer doesn't quite know what to make of the conversation currently going on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Sorry.
I don't chatter between friends is all, I guess. Anyway, back to the deal. Hey, little buddy would like to still have the wave.
What was that?
I said, oh, that out of the way. My little buddy Dread would like the green weave. Is it called green? What the fuck is it called? Yeah, green weave. That's what we call
Yeah. Okay. You want the green wave.
it.
She smiles and says, of course, let's get down to the brass tacks. So she she starts escorting you all outside. Are you done with your meals?
Thangus just Thangus and Raiju just swallowed in one bite. We're good.
What? No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Dread is just gonna finish what I didn't.
Rangless, you did sense something moving through the building again, but you couldn't quite tell what it is.
Thangus just looks back at his bag of holding his potions, just like, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that.
Are you nervous? Well, actually, hold on. Can I? Want to take an insight check, or is it obvious?
Inside check.
I asked. Insight is something I'm rather decent with. Yeah. Oh no 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 no! Ignore the 13. Ignore the 13. Ignore that. I turned all that off. Ignore the 13.
Okay,
Got
so you
22.
did get the 22 though.
Yes, I did get 22.
Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, I don't need to ignore the guidance because the guidance does work in this case.
Actually, yeah, because Dread now has it. So,
Yeah,
Right.
so basically that is
6.
yeah, you scored high enough because you scored basically a 26.
Yeah.
So you can tell that Cathangus is seeing or feeling something that odd, and you can tell based off his expression that it's something that's bothering him.
Look her eyes with a little bit. Because they just sort of ask mentally. Oh, no, the whole ring, knock knock, ringtone, syphilis theme, all that jazz.
So you start telepathically communicating with him.
Yes, I'm just describing its syphilis theme as the ringtone.
It
Then it's
also
just like response back with telepathy. Oh, I just feel like I'm being watched here.
Oh, well, now you're uncomfortable. What the fuck do you think's watching it?
the thing this specifically, it's not just well. The thing is not just specifically you feel like you're feeling bothered. You feel a very familiar aura of decay here, specifically.
Hey, that word could be.
It's different than the normal druids.
Uh,
However, do any of you have blind sight?
mm, no, no.
Okay, because there is something to consider, and there's the possibility that Cathangus is being scried on, but that's entirely separate from what's currently going on.
Oh, scrying not even he noticed. Oh,
Yeah, scrying you would get no indication of. The only reason why that passes through your mind is because of what happened in outside the
oh.
cave.
Oh, if I immediately thought, oh, hey, we didn't notice it before until Sylvester tried to bring it up. Why would Cathingus notice another scrying thing? That makes no sense. So
You said it
immediately,
out loud. Of you thinking it's Silvestro.
He's saying this telepathically.
oh
Hey,
no,
good thing it's just response. I don't think it's Uncle.
he didn't say it was your uncle. I'm saying last time we dealt with a scrying mechanism, is we as the party didn't notice. Like your old Sylvester didn't notice it. This time, it's just you.
Let me
No
double
one
check and
else
make sure the
knows it.
arch druid doesn't have blind sight.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Actually,
she does
they.
not.
Okay.
I know it's not
Honest,
Uncle.
it sort of makes
Last
sense.
time Uncle did this, and just feels different. He has a different energy.
I wasn't saying Vesti did this. I'm saying, hey, this is different than the scribe because Silvestro was the only one who noticed. Right. That's my point. So I don't know what the hell you're sensing or what the hell you're noticing, but if it's bad enough to worry you, let's just get our business over with then.
It's not worrying. It's more like a headache, and I don't know why.
Oh, yet you look through your bag of potions and look around like you're worried. Oh, yes, you're worried, mister.
As this happens, you do notice someone walk out of their room and go to grab a book.
Do we both notice this or just him?
Make a perception check.
Okay,
Me
well,
too.
I'm gonna have guidance
I'm
on
gonna have
that.
all
'Cause-
four of you make a perception check.
Oh, goody. Actually, I get to give red guidance. Let's go. Let me add guidance. Oh, yeah, I
Though,
already
to
had
be
guidance.
fair,
Now
I
I'm
will
good.
say, Zokurai, the DCs will be higher for you and Dread compared to Cathangus and Raiju, because you
Then
two
you-
might not necessarily recognize the significance right away. Cathangos
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
see it.
10. Alright, you said perception?
Yes.
Oh, that's Dread. That's Dread.
Zoker, I noticed.
Oh, that's Dread, not Zoker.
Raiju noticed. Sorry, Dread noticed, Raiju noticed,
I
and now
just immediately
Zoker.
like pulls like a thing, it's like him.
Oh, I didn't notice at all.
Okay, so neither of you
Jesus.
noticed, but Raiju and Dread noticed a man in black and green clothing walked out of his room and is seemingly going to grab a book. He, at the same time, both looks like he belongs here and looks like he doesn't belong here. I wasn't the. It wasn't my fault that you dragged yourself on top of him.
I was just doing that because that's what just happened, right? You just pulled Cathangos towards him.
Why? Why? Why would you do that? What the what?
The Archdruid looks a little confused. It's like
What?
she's just kind of standing back a little bit confused, and there is a little bit of commotion as the man he grabs the book that he wants, turns around and says, "Can I help you?"
Raiju just pipes up. I've seen your type before. I've seen exactly you before.
My type?
Hey,
He blinks a few times. He blinks a few times. One, not knowing what you're saying, and two, slightly offended.
hey,
I didn't mean anything offensive. I just meant
hey, buddy, Roger. Hey, let's let's go take a breather outside.
Cathangos just picks up, clearing up what he says. You do actually feel familiar.
He kind of looks at you skeptically and says, "I'm sorry, I've never seen you a day in my life." And yeah, yeah. Make an insight check.
Everyone or just them?
Cathangos, specifically. Make a insight check.
No, just have to check.
You can tell he's
Wait, got choice.
you can tell he's telling the truth. He is someone that you've seen before. However, he's telling the truth about the fact that he's never seen you before. Now I'll have you make a history check.
Oh, you're gonna fail this one. I sense it. Yes! Where's he getting the other thing from?
Mind
Where's
you, I
he
have a
getting the other
negative
four?
one modifier in history.
Where's he getting the other 4 from?
Memories from the past and guidance.
Oh, wait, how many times can you use memories from the past?
He used it up already, technically.
Okay, I'm just
So
checking.
that's only a 19, but a 19 is still a pass because it's DC 15. So,
Okay.
Cathangos, you remember that the reason why this guy is so familiar is not because of this lifetime, but it's because of your past in Strixhaven. You met him
Cathangos
before.
shows in the primer. Remind me of someone that used to walk around with this.
He looks down strangely at the book, and he doesn't quite know what to think of it. He's like, that book feels familiar. Where do you get it?
When I was at Witherbloom.
Where you're at what?
Good thing us. Buddy.
I was at Witherbloom. In Strixhaven.
English.
I think your buddy's trying to get your attention.
Sorry. I don't know why.
Can
Thing
I go back to my room now?
Yes, you can go long. Go. Sorry for the intrusion.
And he looks to his left and sees that Raiju is entirely blocking his way.
Could you please get out of his way?
Could you please? Apologies.
The man just looks at all of you strange and just holding his head says, "Ugh, I have a headache." As he leaves, go back to his bedroom and read the book that he wanted to read.
Oh, good thing. Let's rush you outside now. Let's get out for a minute. Sorry.
I know I fucked up.
The
Let's get outside.
Archdruid is following all of you, by the way.
Hey, this is a private conversation. Okay. Please leave this to private conversation.
She kind of blinks a few times, says, "Is something wrong?"
Oh, nothing's wrong. Some sensitive information was said. Wasn't supposed to be.
All right, well, I'll head out. Follow me when you are done with your conversation. I need to show you where we make the green weave.
Thank you for your understanding. Didn't mean to cause any issues. But nice.
And she heads out into the wilderness, and she'll disappear on the map.
Bye. Oh, fucking God. Why did you mention that? Why? Why did you mention Witherbloom? Why?
She's just
Why?
silent as he's just looking blank.
I want to know why
Okay.
you mentioned Witherbloom.
Just felt something. I'm sorry, I'm a fuck up, aren't I?
That, I probably would do something a little similar. Like, still, that was not a good choice to bring up Witherbloom at all. Whatever we know about the college. Please.
Remind me of one of the people that taught me, okay?
What? Like your teacher?
Like a professor in a way.
So a teacher. What? They
Yeah.
resembled your teacher. What, you think he got, isekai like you?
Something had to happen. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Well,
I don't need negativity in my life.
Ever. If you have a situation like that again, let's not immediately talk about it in public. Don't need to draw more attention than required, especially in that sort of way.
I just thought he'd remember me.
Why? He didn't.
So far, only one person from Witherbloom besides myself knows it. That's Belladros.
Not Hoonery. Doesn't Hoonery remember too?
It's not the same, and you know it.
Well then, if you mean your individual experience, then yes. Sure. Belladros is the only one else who knows your past. Right? Fuck. I'm sorry. I got a little heated. I feel like this is necessary, so we know don't talk about that. It's not so publicly, and we can talk about it more sparsely.
Just got excited, okay?
I get that, but we have to learn to contain our excitement. That's how business works. That's how survival works. Not compromising mind, curiosity. In any case, let's go get that green
As
weed.
soon as I can.
Come on, let's stick around a little bit. Bingo makeup helps reputation. Come on, let's go. Let's go get some green weed.
Do you all follow the arch druid that left?
I do at least.
Angus just sticks around for a moment.
Okay, so Zokurai, you two can leave. You and Dread can leave the map. And now, Kathanglis and Raiju, you're alone. What are you doing?
I usually don't let your anger just calm down, calm down. You remember what happens whenever you're mad. I thought stupid. Why would that ever matter? I just thought I could have some memory of the past again. I guess I can't. Let's move on.
What the fuck is that?
See it? Kathanglis, make a perception check.
Why did I go outside the moment that happened?
Okay, roll perception with guidance, and not with guidance, because you wouldn't even be aware.
Guidance is still on.
Wait,
You rolled
would be
performance,
on when
not
you're-
perception. You begin playing your
Yeah.
violin. No.
Oh no, he can play it to calm down. There it is. That's an excuse.
Yeah,
Right.
that would be a performance check to calm yourself down. Okay. You do notice, by the way, that there was someone listening into that conversation that you and Raiju had.
Okay. I was gonna say the whole mental conversation Four had, but never mind. That's fine.
And
That was
as you
just-
notice them, they quickly begin to duck away and disappear.
Danglish just turns his hand into a vine and grabs him. It's not rude. It's kind of rude and shrewd, you know.
I'll have him make a dex
Yeah, hit
save.
him.
Make a dex save. 20 plus 4. He manages to get away.
Damn.
You're good.
Not bad at all.
Also, it was not the Arch Druid actually rolling that. Ignore that.
I know, it was a random NPC thing.
Either way, so are you going to go follow the Druid?
Yes.
Okay, we'll delete you
Actually,
from the
good
map.
question. The question is, are you gonna tell Zokurai about that encounter?
No.
We will see. Now, here is the map that the Druid went to. Yes, this is a campsite. And the Druid is here waiting, so go ahead and drag yourself out onto the map. And, Cathangless, you are showing up from over here. Because this is where the trail is.
Hey, here.
No, up here. Like, literally up here in the trees.
See here, you'll take a seat here, and
There. Because if you look, the actual trail goes down in between those trees all the way into the campsite. And you see that she's sitting in front of this pile of sticks here and is starting to looking at some reeds that are growing, and you notice that they look kind of strange, though, right? They look like weeds, however, they have sort of a shimmering quality to them, almost resembling dragon scales in a way.
I guess that there's the green weed we
And
talked
she's
about.
that's the dragon tail ferns that they talk about.
Oh, dragon tail friends. I forgot about those things.
And she's using Druidcraft, and she's currently deep in meditation, using Druidcraft in a process to mold the still living ferns into greenleaf. And this process will take an hour.
I do not interrupt.
Okay. During this hour, Cathangla shows up because he finished his little talk.
Meanwhile, Cathangus and Raiju are just like, you should tell him, you know, I don't even know who I saw. It's not a thing.
Also, this fire is going, by the way. It's not just burned out.
Oh, I figured.
You might at least want to turn back your arm from a vine.
Hello, Lemur. Welcome to the stream.
Hello. Hey. Anyway.
Cathangus just waves his like vine right arm. Hi!
Either way. So, you all wait for this to be over. Do you do anything during the hour, or do you just sit here and wait?
I
Cathangus
guess.
just meditates.
Um,
Actually,
well-
trying to actively try to see if he can also affect the reeds as well.
Actually, this would be a good opportunity. No, well, this would be a good opportunity for you all to take a long rest. Because if you remember, you did just spend like, what, 8 hours? You just spent like, what, 10 hours training and then 8 hours of making, 4 hours of making something. And now this, you guys are probably very tired at this point.
Sure, I'll long rest. That's fine. Actually,
Just for the
I'm just gonna
last
keep
4
looking.
hours for Cathangus, I just realized.
Dreads. he's gonna go in
English
here.
just slowly starts meditating as he slowly just like relaxes himself.
And I will say that you can meditate by the Archdruid while the Archdruid is doing this process, and uh she will not have a problem with that, as she recognizes that you are not disrespecting her in this process. And I think Raiju just goes to sleep.
Raiju just goes up to Angus as he pats him.
No, Dred's
Dred
gonna actually people.
Dredd just sits
Hey.
by the tents and watches out for Zokurai.
No, I'd say he'd be flying around.
Oh, I didn't figure he'd be flying around. I figured he'd be guarding you quite closely.
Well, he cares about everyone else's safety too, not just Zokurai's.
Okay, fair enough. It depends on how much he trusts the Archdruid, honestly.
Oh, not very much. Honestly, he got that tendency from Zokurai.
So Dredd will be the first one to notice because of the fact that he's currently awake. Everyone else is asleep. So after the hour is up, while everyone else is deep in their long rest, she will have finished with 1 pound of material, and she will turn to Dredd and ask, "How much of this was you wanting anyway?"
How much is enough to make clothes / armor out of it for my size?
She smiles and says, "I'd wager," and she starts estimating in her head. And I actually need to look up the weight of studded leather. What's the weight of studded leather offhand?
Ooh, damn it, I don't remember, but I've seen it. It's like
Not glamour, regular studded leather. So there'd be
Me
1/8
too.
of whatever the normal thing is. The normal weight is 13 pounds. So 1/8 of that is like 1.2 pounds, something like that.
oh yeah.
And
With Wouldn't we just multiply the 13 by 3.5 gold pieces?
what?
Wouldn't we just multiply the weight of like 13 pounds by 3.5 gold pieces?
Well, but it's not full 13 pounds because it's for a small character.
Right. So then, how do we?
It'd be
do that?
1/8. Because if you remember, when sizing something up, we multiply the weight by 8. So when sizing something down, we divide the weight by 8.
Oh, then 13 divided by
8
8
is like 1.5.
and 1.5 times 3.5.
1.5 times 3.5 is what it would be in terms of gold pieces.
Alright, let me do the calculator for that bit.
Or in this case, it would be like 5.75 gold pieces, something like that. Or in other words, it would be 5 gold pieces, 7 silver pieces, and 5 copper pieces.
Right.
And that's just for Dread. If we're also considering Raiju, Raiju needs quite a bit more because he's a large creature.
I'm not paying for him, by the way. He's paying for his own shit.
Okay. But Dread does need to be the one to tell her whether or not they're making enough for Raiju.
Alright.
So, Cathangus, are you actually planning on buying enough of the stuff for Raiju? It's going to be
Yes.
expensive. Because it's going to be 13 times 8 for the poundage, and then times that by 3.5 for the gold cost.
Which is in the hundreds?
It's in the hundreds, yes.
I don't have enough.
You don't have enough?
It's 364.
Times 3.5. Yeah, you do not have enough to afford all of that thing, because it's effectively 104 pounds of freaking greenleaf. Yeah, no, you don't have enough for all of that.
Unless you, like, I don't know, need more favorites.
The English tries to do it himself.
Can you fail miserably?
Yeah, I was gonna assume that it'd be a certain level. What level 10? Druid?
It's level, I think it's level 5.
I've
Oh, then he's just not high enough, barely.
Yeah, he's not high enough.
Yeah.
She smiles as you try and says, "You'll eventually get there at some point." Though, to be fair, were you doing this before your long rest? Because currently you're still asleep, so I don't know how you'd be doing this.
I assume after he wakes up, since it's only 4
Sure, he
hours.
wakes up in the 4-hour meditation.
I know, but currently at the time, it had only been 1 hour in because we're doing the whole Dread thing, because Dread doesn't even sleep.
Actually, yeah, can I have a moment to have just Dread talk? I haven't had a moment of just Dread doing shit.
What are you asking me? I couldn't quite understand your question.
Sorry. I was asking if I could have Dread, like, have a proper moment with another, like, person. Like, one-on-one, I guess.
Sure.
He rarely
He
has
can
one.
have a
Yeah.
moment with the Archdruid if you want him to.
But yeah, I'll have that. That would be some fun.
Because Ashiri initiated the conversation because she said, "How much of this are you wanting to have made?"
Let's see the math. Would be about what? Normally it'd be 13 pounds, but going off master's height and size, and then we divide that by 8, 1.5 times 3.5 per gold. So, yeah, 1.5 pounds. Oh, like about 5.25 gold pieces or more.
She nods and smiles and then she starts slowly going back to the ritual, but she keeps talking and says, "Thank you for letting me know. You do have the gold cost to cover it, yes?"
Oh, yeah, we have just enough, he says modestly and lying.
She smiles and nods as she's working on more Dragon Tail. And she looks towards Dread and says, "You know you are welcome in nature, right?"
My fence, but why would nature welcome something that wasn't created like nature? Especially from what the heaven has been rumored.
Metal is just a refined form of soil and rock. Whether your heart is of metal and clockwork or is of flesh and blood, it is still a soul. And you are still a part of Gaia's grand design.
I This is dumb to say, but my master isn't the grandest fan of the gods. So I don't hate Gaia, I don't disdain any of the gods myself. I'm just I see it either way. Not the biggest fan, but I see why people believe and worship and power from them.
The the work of Gaia is self-evident in every tree and plant and animal you see, even in the very air that you breathe.
Mhm.
Though, in your case, I suppose you do not need to breathe, do you?
Or sleep, which is why I've been up as long as you have.
Mm-hmm. I slept not too long ago. And
Hmm.
as this conversation happens, I'll go ahead and say that it's already been a half hour and she's already finished the other section of Greenweave needed.
Hmm.
And she smiles and then turns properly to Dread and says, "I know the type of those who do not like the gods, though in your case, you do not have to share your master's views. It is up to
I,
you to find your own path."
I don't share his views. He disdains them. I have nothing against, but nothing with them. It depends on their personality. That's how I was taught by my master. I was also given freedom of choice by Zokurai. So I switched between calling him master and Zokurai. Because he isn't really my master. could just leave at any point. I don't owe him anything, as he's told me.
It
But
seems it seems like he takes proper care of you.
yes, I'm not a tool. I'm not a toy, and I'm not just a machine. So, he gave me real, real freedom. He gave me real freedom for my choices.
As
Always encouraged it.
as that happens, is Dread currently on the ground?
No, he's flying.
As that happens, she smiles and she suddenly wild shapes and turns into let me pull up the thing. Monsters.
Into a bat, into a bird, like creature.
He turns into the form of an owl and flies up to
Okay.
Dread. And she lands on top of Dread's head. And it's just perched there. How does Dread react?
It would just sort of tilt her head, but not really care much.
He
Oh,
he calls out as an owl, just normal noises as she starts to ruffle her feathers a little bit and get comfortable on top of him as she telepathically says to him,
they have telepathy?
yeah, she has the telepathy read. Anyway,
Anyway.
yeah, she telepathically says to him, see, you are comfortable around nature. You're comfortable around me right now.
I suppose it's not always just nature. It can be people, it can be the look of things. Nature has a big part to play in, but that's like saying I don't like all living things, which is an incorrect statement. I just don't do well with a bunch of it. I guess the forest. I don't like being with nature. That's why I'm okay right now. Because you're here, and my master's here, and others are here, animal or otherwise. Sort of comforting. That doesn't mean I want to follow being a druid.
I'm not asking you to become a druid. Not at all. All I ask is that you follow your own path. Go where your heart guides you, whether that heart is flesh or a crystal. And as she said that, um, she flies away back to the campsite and turns back into an archdruid. And I will go ahead and say, by the way, that now it has been enough time that Cathanglis has started to wake up from his trance. As she
Oh,
turned
there.
back into an archdruid.
It would just.
I always want to become an owl, you know?
Did you even witness that bit of it? Like,
He did not
going
witness
back?
her being an owl, no.
Did you witness them? Okay, yeah. Alright. I had to check.
I thought you legit said he woke up and then he saw her doing that.
No, I said as she was turning back into her normal form, you woke up. Basically saying that all you saw that was that she was wild shaped into some form, but you don't know what. You couldn't see what it was. And it was specifically her landing next to you in the campsite that actually caused you to wake up in this case. So, Cathanglis and Dread are currently the only ones awake. The other ones will be asleep for 4 hours. Do you want to do a conversation here, or do you just want to skip forward until everyone's awake again?
Fine. I have more screen time for Dre. I haven't gotten enough. If Fox is fine with that.
Thangless, would you like to have a moment with Dread?
Sure.
Okay, you two go ahead and do that. I'm gonna grab more water. I'll be back. You can
Alright.
have dialogue while I'm gone. Don't cause trouble.
Yeah. Alright.
Thangless just slowly looks at Raiju sleeping peacefully,
Ed
just
would
like before.
Yeah. Ed would look towards Raju as well, more curious than anything.
All right there.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Had a little conversation.
I tend to meditate to collect my thoughts.
I don't get it. It's sort of just a trance, going in a trance voluntarily.
Let's just say I tap into the more elven nature of myself to put myself in a trance, but at the same time I'm meditating. I know the benefit of being undead, but on the other hand, I'm undead. I'm not natural.
Well, doesn't seem
One
like
supporting nature and all, and I'm not even natural myself.
true. The nature seemingly bends its rules all the time. So it's fine. Probably. I mean, the archer didn't say anything about it, so you should be fine. I need to get their
Put it in
name.
other ways, I've just trying to understand what I'm seeing and why I'm feeling the way I do.
No, the way you're feeling is natural.
I panicked the way I did when I saw someone that reminded me of my past.
Because that's a natural response. I mean, if I saw someone and then my past was very vague, I'd want to know everything I can. I don't think I'd be as smart as my master when it comes to that. I think I'd be as impulsive as you. Or less. But it depends.
I'm less smart and more wise.
Yes, you're a little more street smart and stuff. So,
But
that
I
doesn't mean you're not.
long-standing connection with nature when it comes to that. It's mainly because my parents. No, I mean, nothing.
Sure.
Sorry.
It's fine.
It's a damn thing that I put in my head that Raji said that my parents once told me.
Oh.
I don't even want to finish that sentence because I don't feel like one.
Okay. I mean, if it makes you feel better, I would just say it.
I was once called the Prince of Nature, okay?
Oh, that little thing that sort of just ignored.
Long time ago, long time ago, in the Feywild, there was a war. My parents ended it peacefully. And I happened to be the child of both of those parents. I just try to be the just try to share their views and try to be like them.
Why try to be like them? Why not just be yourself?
Because they matter in this world. I want to matter.
Well, you do matter.
Our master has a very successful business going on. Didn't even dream of that.
I mean, it took him, I don't know, 30 plus years of his life, which is a drop in the bucket for us, be an immortal construct and thousand to 1,000 years old. Like, the point
You know
is,
why I fear everything?
sir, I don't
I'm
know
afraid of
why,
hurting others.
but wouldn't that just make the tendency to hurt them even more prone to happen?
I tend to take out my impulses to just do things into my either my potions or hunting. I don't mean
Right.
hunting as with weapons. I don't hunt with weapons.
That's very strange. Then again, I guess you have the strength to eat something
Just smiles,
without.
showing his large fangs. Let's just say I'm very prepared to hunt.
Yes. Why did you accept the weapon if your preferred method is?
Sometimes when I do those, just so happens that my unique connection to nature allows me to do this. He just turns his hand to a large vine.
Oh, I saw the Shrey turn into an animal, but I didn't know you could turn into plants.
The connection has always been interesting. Life and death alike. A blending of the two. I
Well,
choose
in a
to be
way,
life because I never could bear myself to kill. Except for the hunt, of course.
that's still killing. So you're not
There's a difference
taking.
between senseless murder and just natural nature.
Oh,
Nature
you
kills
could.
because it has to.
Um, there are sadistic animals. No, I guess humanoids are the only sadistic creature. Oh, no, there's more sadistic animals. But the point is that just because someone may focus on death doesn't mean they don't appreciate life anymore, if not appreciate it even more, or don't find a balance of death and life anyway. It just means that's their preference or that's their focus. You
Mildred,
focus.
I can share you something my mother once taught me. No matter what you are, you're all connected no matter what, because you all share a soul, whether it be from crystalline or from blood and the material. Everyone's connected in a way. It's hilarious how everything, big and small, grow up to be very mighty and powerful. They just wish it to be.
Not everything.
Everybody's capable of growing in both negatives and positives.
I don't agree with.
At the same time, I believe that everyone's equal in terms of that. All people are capable of great good or great evil. It doesn't matter what they are.
I don't believe good or evil, particularly. I think there is good and I think there is evil, but I don't think there's sides, or at least depends. It's very wishy-washy, in my opinion. But
Creatures, I tend to always see the good inside them, like with the basilisks.
yeah, I think
They
there
didn't
were
fight back. After all, I know why they attacked. Just wanted to hunt and they just wanted their home. To us, to them, we were the intruders.
correct. To be fair, they don't really on what things come to them, then they go to uh, what I was told anyway.
I tended to just always believe, no matter what, even the tiniest of creatures, are capable of good, no matter how evil they seem.
I don't,
Everyone has good inside themselves if they just try.
I don't believe. Well, yeah, like my master, I do believe that. Same time, I don't quite get that idea. Cause all right,
Heck, I've met a lot of
let's
good fays. Believe it or not, I actually know how Sylvester was. He's always never changed. A little bit eccentric, but he always cares. And then
uh, yes, I mean master did learn that.
that's why I call him Uncle, not just for respect, but in a way, he was there more than my father.
Do you know him better than your father?
No equal better. It's just my mom was the first person to raise him. My mom is older than him, after all.
Wait. So does this make you? Doesn't that make him your older brother, not your uncle?
I once called him brother. He did not like it that much.
Okay, then,
He respected the term uncle better.
yeah. Oh, that's weird. That's a really weird naming scheme.
My
Okay.
mom, I know her age currently. She's 3,156 years old.
Oh, so 3 times the normal lifespan of the average dragon.
Power of druids actually allow her to age slowly.
Oh, so they're not stronger than that. They're actually. Oh.
She never
I
wants to
mean,
use her strength. She always uses her wisdom to fight. I can try to
they're
do the same.
300. That's out
I
there.
always
I don't
believed
know
there was
yet.
another way to fight rather than just endlessly attacking, and that just comes with trying to make a friend out of others.
I don't quite see them saying. Yeah, I see it. I do want that too, but in most fights, that's not really an option. I don't see the option.
I'm back, by the way.
Sorry.
Hey, hello, bug. Hello, God. How was your break?
I will say, at this time, Raiju and Zokai begin to wake up.
He's never. Nathaniel's just looking at Raiju wake up. He's still never changed the way he wakes up. It's still amazing to see him wake up. Being there for him.
Even for my master. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break. We can talk with my master. With that,
Sorry for
He's-
yammering on your ear. It feels good to have someone to talk to.
likewise, feels really nice. I don't really get tired, but I do like to sleep sometimes. Maybe I'll take a 5 minute nap or something.
I tend to just lay down and relax for 4 hours.
Yeah, you don't really sleep. Anyway, besides point, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go sit down. Think about all the things.
And with that, I'm going to go ahead and say that Dredd will leave and go to his special little place to go take a nap, which I don't know if we talked about this with you, Zokai, but I already have an idea what that is. Do you want to know?
Wait, there's a special place you.
Yeah, I like to think that you have a special bag of holding on you that is just dedicated for Dredd to sleep in.
That's like his room.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be great.
His room is a very special bag of holding that only he ever goes into. No items, no nothing. It's only for Dredd.
And whatever items, souvenirs he decides to have, yeah.
Yeah, that's where he goes. He goes into your
He'll be
bag
in
of
there for
holding.
like. Yeah. He'll be taking like a cat nap, not the spell, but like around as long as the spell. So.
Oh yeah, I figured Dredd's just taking a short rest.
Not even that. He doesn't really need a rest. And like.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. A short rest is light activity. It isn't sleeping. It's light activity.
I know, but that's like usually an hour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alright, anyway, he can stay in his room for like an hour just chilling, processing the information. Also, I'm not gonna lie, you partially made me want him to be a druid. I don't know why. A machine being a druid would be irony on it.
Well, to be fair, part of me wants him to become an actual ranger, but yeah.
Oh, Ranger works too, splendidly.
Yeah, we got more rangers besides Kathangus and Jakul.
Actually, Ranger works for him. Ooh, good idea, good idea. In
It works.
between.
It works a lot better than Druid.
It does. It does. And it's an in between of how he feels about nature and technology in general. Oh, yes, I love that. Alright, good idea. So you're the guy.
You're gonna join Kathangus in the ranks of ranger.
We'll talk about more off camera.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Anyway,
Indeed. After we talk about something else to you off camera, Bug.
Yeah, but off camera we can talk about the fact that I'm partially willing to let you swap out expert levels for ranger levels. We'll talk about that.
Let's see.
Richie
Hi
just
there.
in Sylvan says that to Cathangus.
So, you all begin to wake up, and the Archdruid is just sitting there smiling at all of you. And you see that all of the greenweave has been prepared. And she looks towards Zokra and says, I have prepared the material. Do you have the payment?
Yes, I have the amount of gold to require. I'm just gonna round it up to 6, make it a tip.
Thank you.
Oh.
And she holds out her hands.
Cathangus' hands are gold. Thank you very much for your time, by the way.
You're welcome. And she takes that and smiles and then looks towards you for the rest.
And they gave it. They're like, actually, I'm gonna have them walk up and give it.
All right. Do you give
You
her
can chip
6
in if
gold
you
pieces?
More time?
Do you give her 6 gold pieces?
Yes.
I do.
Not Cathangless.
Not
I'm talking
you.
about Zokrai.
Yeah, I give 6 gold pieces.
Okay. So she smiles as she has the tip. She got 1 gold piece from Cathangless and 6 from Zokrai. As she leaves the material with you as she starts heading back towards the cabin.
Richie just pulls Cathangus off to the side and then just says them. So what he said, Sylvan's just like, tell them about the person who ran away.
Hey, can this be the moment I accidentally do the thing?
What accidentally do the thing?
Is he speaking Sylvan right now?
Yeah, this would be the moment you'd accidentally do the thing.
What did you say? Could you repeat that in Sylvan really quickly? Like what he said in Sylvan?
It's nothing, Zokrai.
Oh no. I'm asking his player. Player, I need to respond to that. What did he say? In Sylvan.
Did you tell them about the person who ran away from you?
Wait, there was a person who ran away? Yes, that's so good.
And
Cathangus just looks at Zokrai. No, there's nobody.
Cathangless, it just now occurred to you that he spoke Sylvan. He's never known Sylvan before.
How did you learn this?
Learn what?
Make an insight check, Cathangless.
It's the violin. I don't want to really play the violin.
God damn it.
Performance will not help you here.
Oh, he's gonna. Oh, we got 13. Thank God.
All right. You can't
Well,
quite tell.
She could ride you.
You can't quite tell, but from what you can tell, he seems to be unaware of the fact that he's currently speaking Sylvan.
Rod, you just do an insight check.
Raiju's not involved in this conversation. I mean, do you want Raiju? Sure, Raiju can do one, but he'll have disadvantage. Yeah,
13.
he also rolled a 13. So, no, he got the same conclusion as Cathangless.
Speaking the tongue of my people.
The tongue of your people. The tongue.
Zokarai, make a history check.
I'm like, what? I'm just like mumbling to myself as I'm trying to do history check.
You're racking your brain to try and remember what that means.
Okay.
And you have no idea. You can't. It's something. It's something on the edge of your mind, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
You're
Come on,
patronizing
tell-
you're a fool. Choose one, you're possibly both.
I'm gonna rip your throat out. Just explain it.
You're speaking
And-
Sylvan, goddammit.
How do I know how to speak Sylvan?
I want you to
I want.
answer me that. How can you speak Sylvan?
Hey, can I
Zokarai,
roll to
you
try and-
now realize that you are indeed speaking Sylvan.
Wait. I continue to try and
I've also been able to understand it easily because I've not changed any languages. I've been speaking Sylvan ever since.
I-
That entire bar scene, Cathanglis was speaking Sylvan.
Wait, what? I understood all of that.
All of
Not all.
that was in Sylvan.
I shouldn't have heard anything without this. Oh God,
Well,
And
tell
yet,
me honestly, how do you know?
I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna say, player, they would know. As a player, they do. They have a guess, but they're not gonna say the
okay,
guess.
then make a deception check, and Cathanglis, you make an insight check.
Fuck, please, I'm good at deception. Don't blow us out of the water.
Hey, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, God, it's 22. Yeah, you're not winning. You're not winning. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so what he can tell, what you can tell, he's being honest. He really doesn't know.
Full of surprises, aren't you?
I could say the same thing about you. That would be. Hey, guys. Yes, I can. Over now. That's all.
It's funny. It's a skill I recently picked up. You want me to test it on you?
What skill?
Just turns his right hand to a vine.
Hey, hey. If you try to grab me with that, I'm setting it on fire.
I don't think that usually sets on fire, you know.
We're not gonna do this fight. I'm not in the mood. I just woke up, man.
They actually make a persuasion roll.
I would
Yeah.
like to an intimidation
Yep.
roll.
No, you're not doing intimidation. You're doing insight. And he's doing
Really?
persuasion.
Okay, well,
You can't counter
Alright.
persuasion with intimidation. That's not how this works.
I was trying to draw that. I was trying to pull that card out first, but. A 13, please.
Okay,
52.
so
24.
he is able to
fuck
successfully
you.
Can I explain what
Fine.
happened?
Yes.
Okay, he's able to successfully persuade you in certain things. However, you do make intimidation at the same time, so now you make an intimidation roll, he makes an insight.
Okay, I don't have good intimidation. Can I? Ooh. Damn, I want to use my honor, but. Let's just roll raw intimidation. Are you?
You need to
Oh,
roll
jeez.
well.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Ow.
you did not come off as intimidating, and it looks like Cathanglis is in control of this conversation for the most part.
Oh.
He seemingly has the upper hand in the conversation.
He just turns from like being like having no emotions, just slightly smirking.
Uh, oh.
Cathanglis, make a wisdom save.
Whoa, wait, isn't it? Turn now.
Okay, you pass. However, in this moment, you suddenly got a flashback in your head of your brother standing over you with a very similar position that you are now in, standing over Zokarai. If you had failed that, you would have also taken psychic damage.
Danglish is just shaking right now.
What's Oh, what's
not him.
wrong? That's so
Not him.
high and
I'm not
mighty
him.
now.
I am not him. I am not him. I am not him. I'm not him. I'm not him. I'm not him.
What are you
Do you-
mumbling about? You just
Do
got the
you-
upper hand in the conversation.
Does Raiju do anything?
Raiju just immediately just hugs him. She's like, no, not again. Just calm. Remember what happens when remember what happens when it's agitated.
Damn it, just play your flute or whatever the fuck. Do this. For a reason,
I don't
right?
want to be like my brother, okay?
Oh, you're referencing him. Huh. Wonder why you got a flashback of that mess.
because demon control is his thing. Tend to intimidate everyone. It always left me scared. So one day I broke and accidentally did something in a nightmare. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, terrible memory.
All I remember was screaming at him to leave me alone, and just something happened.
Did you do any damage?
Cathanglus, make an intimidation check. Zokoi, make an insight check.
Oh, alright. Oh my god, please. Oh, I'm done.
Zokurai, you're actually shook by this story.
Alright.
That's what I was rolling for, is to see you're actually shook by that, because you feel something nagging at you, but you can't quite put your finger on from where. But yeah,
Okay.
something about that story is like quite intimidating for you.
Okay, yeah, the nagging's gonna be very much concerning.
I just don't want to harm people like he did.
This song.
Something
Uns-
around me at that time broke, and I can't remember.
Oh, I'm not the biggest fan of the story now. So, let's just change topic. Okay, play a little song and dance, your little flute. Everything
As
should be just fine.
as that happens, Cathanglus, you feel an urge to do something.
I try to see what it is.
Make a performance check.
He feels the same urge to dance.
Yes, you begin dancing spontaneously. Make a performance check.
Oh no.
It is not a very good dance. As you're currently, you don't really feel the flow right now, but you just, him mentioning song and dance urged you to start dancing. So, are we going to take way back into the carriage?
Right? Kathanga's just calmly, I was like, after that, and it's just like, I don't know what came over me. Long story short, someone ran away. Tried to catch them, and they got out.
That's concerning. That'll be a nuisance. I'll have to find a way to track down later. If I can.
And it's just slightly smirks, just showing his fangs, like, don't worry, I may hunt him later.
I doubt you'll find him.
Also,
But
FYI, Cathanglus, you do realize that Raiju does have a blind sight evolution he could have. Excuse me.
Oh, blindside evolution, I was about to say, like, yeah, but that's up to 10 feet.
I know, but my point is, a sparring sensor has to be within 10 feet of you. So if you actually suspected that there might have been, which I mentioned earlier, you would think that you would give him that evolution over the course of this night.
Actually, can I? Saying that he has.
You can swap out the evolutions of Raiju whenever you and he takes a long rest.
To be honest, that's I keep on forgetting. Like, wait, there's technically a thing I can get rid of for the moment.
Did you do this? That's the question.
Yes.
Did you do this? Okay. As this happens, as you are all talking about this, Raiju kind of pokes you and points to something off to your side, Cathanglus.
What is it, Reggie?
Raiju sees a small point of light kind of spinning and flickering there, following Cathanglus.
Not another one.
wait, what? Another of these? Oh no. Hey, can I use what move do I
Can you use what?
see? I'm checking my moves. These are my moves. Mind Sliver wouldn't do shit. So let's use Spark Bolt. Yes.
Thanos just pipes up. No need, I got this. He just immediately uses Briar Vine on it.
You do, and the briar vine goes right through it with no effect. It's
Let
as
me
if it
try
isn't
my-
even there.
Can I try my Firebolt?
You can try your firebolt. Do you want to shoot it? Alright. You try to shoot the firebolt at it, and it goes right through, as if it isn't even there.
Is it an illusion?
Only Raichu can see this.
Raiju.
Thanos just says, Raiju, Radiant Bark now.
I was gonna say try to attack it. Same brain.
Raichu is barking right here. It's evidently right here currently.
Need it again? Okay. I see.
Just Raiju. The tiny breath attack.
Any breath attack? Oh, okay. So Raichu uses that attack and it goes right through, as if nothing happened. Though you do hit the tent behind that and rip a hole through the tent.
No. At least I know where it is.
I will have all of you make a history check, by the way.
This is not a scribe. We couldn't. I don't think we could destroy it before, right?
But the Cathangless doesn't remember.
Can
Raiju, remember. Raiju, remember for me.
I take Dread out of the bag?
No, well, I mean, you could take Dread out of the bag, won't do anything. Zokai,
Raiju!
okay, Zokai, you remember that last time you didn't destroy it, you dispelled it with Dispel Magic.
Oh, I got this. Alright, let me grab a.
And Raichu remembers that too, by the way.
I
The one spell I don't have.
think I have Dispel Magic in my physical list.
You
Yeah.
do also remember Silvestro mentioning something about it not working across planes? And you remember that the
Oh.
bag of holding is technically a different plane.
Thing, let's get in the bag. Let's get in the
Just shrink
bag.
now. Go.
Okay, so you get in the bag of holding? You have to reduce his size first, remember?
Reduce size. On DM view.
Actually, no, wild shape. Just wild shape into an insect. or
Oh,
something.
yeah. Wild shape into a small animal, Cathangless.
What the fuck am I the one who thought of that?
Thanos just turns into a spider.
Okay, I would say a cat. That works too. And
A
Raichu also
cat.
gets tiny.
Okay, well, fine. We're going cat.
Yeah, Raichu is
Okay.
also tiny, and as Raichu's falling close behind, but as Cathangless gets in the bag, Raichu notices that the scrying sensor just kind of seemingly it goes inert. It follows him, but it kind of stops at the top of the bag of holding. It isn't able to go inside.
It was falling so.
Thanos just telepathically just talks to gracious. God damn it! I'm sick and tired of people following me. I don't even know what it is.
And as this happens, I'll go ahead and say all of you are. I assume you're going to planeswalk Zokurai into the carriage.
I'm not going to immediately. I want to make sure this person doesn't know we can just teleport. So, how does it follow me if I move?
If you start moving, no, it does not follow you currently.
I run as far.
Thanos would just say it's like it's not following you, smart ass.
Okay, so you move far away, and we'll go ahead and say you move all the way over to here. You end up in a fisherman's shack near the river. And let me turn dynamic lighting off.
Loading.
It's not that it's loading, it was already loaded. It was just dynamic lighting.
Oh.
So you ran all the way to the
Thanos
fisherman's
just was
shack.
like, "Can I get out of the bag now?"
And Zokai has left roll 20.
I'm re-entering roll 20 because it was being a bit.
Just the one. Thang was just mentally just like mumbles like, "Can I get out of the bag now?"
As you guys figure out what's going on with the fox in the bag, I'm going to go deal with my dish. I'll be back.
Alright.
Fox in the bag.
Hey,
Should have
fucking
turned
cup.
into a fox. Anyway.
Wait, I never find a stat sheet for a fox. That's the only reason why I didn't have that on.
Oh. Anyway. So. Yeah. That's what's concerning. That's the second time this happened. It means someone's been doing this a bunch when I leave. I hope
There's the
not.
fact that I don't know. It could be the same person. It could be a different one. Please let me out for a second. It's suffocating.
Fine, get out. But you're staying the same size in case we need to leave.
Tiny.
Yes, both of you stay tiny.
I hate being a cat.
Just shut up and do it. Hell, this is our survival.
Curse you on Sylvan again, but you'd understand it this time.
Fuck you too, buddy, trying to keep us alive. Anyway, so it's bad. How long have you been following us?
Could have been the person that followed me earlier. Was
You
spying
might,
on me.
but the same person who followed us initially with that scry, or be a different
Not
person?
the same person that followed us. Person that was just looking at me when, like, before I noticed them outside the building.
Possible we have two different people or the same group trying to follow us for some reason.
I don't fucking know. I tried to get them. They
Taking
didn't even speak. They just ran away when I tried to tie them up in vines.
Well, obviously they're gonna run away when they see you because they're caught.
Oh, hey, Blue.
I try to be stealthy with it.
I just left the room and came back with a dish. Thank you for the raid.
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice the raid because I was in Twitch, so I didn't lag as bad. Yeah.
Either way, welcome. So currently, the current situation is that they're currently in the Fisher's Lodge. They went to go get Greenweave from an agriculture faction base. A bunch of shenanigans happens. Good thing this is currently a cat.
Which is currently tiny or supposed to be.
There was an
Small.
There was an arch druid. There was people watching them. There's a scrying sensor they had to deal with, and also Zokai has a very shiny shield now.
Yeah.
I hate being tiny. I hate being small.
Just remain small. Dear God, if we need to run, at least I can shove you in the bag.
That sounds so bad out of context.
Well, I'm trying to save his
Please
life.
have to let the cat out of the bag for once, you little closet fucker.
I'm sorry, what? Was that a little bit of insult at the end?
You should stuff him in the hat so he'd be cat in the hat.
Okay, that's covered. That's good. Okay, what the fuck is that?
I'm just imagining a novelty item called the Hat of Holding. Where it's just like a magician's hat, where you just pull endless rabbits out of it.
I mean,
That's a thing. That is a thing. I've
there is
actually
an item
found that in
to do
D&D. That's a thing.
Oh, okay.
Hey, question. What level is the scry spell?
I don't freaking remember. Let me
Oh my
check.
God, is it a high?
I'm pretty sure it's high level. Yeah, it's like 7th level or something like that.
Found it. Divination.
It's
on,
5th
hold
level. It's
on.
5th level.
I found it.
If they're still following us, Angle just smells the area.
It's not currently. Well, actually, as Cathanglis gets out of the bag, it reappears.
What the? Ah! So it's following you. How is it following you? Okay, I wouldn't even see it. It would be right.
Good job, genius. I never would have noticed.
That's Ryder who sees it first and would react like
Raiju's
sorry,
the
my
only one
bad.
who can see it, because Raiju's the only one here with
That's what I'm
blind
saying.
sight.
That's what I'm saying. I meant that was supposed to be Ryder's reaction.
Dangos is
That was
currently
my
hearing
bad.
from Raiju telepathically because of the thing about spellbinders. They don't even need to speak to each other. They communicate telepathically if they want to.
Lucky you. But
By the
yeah,
way-
I would get that nudge and act the same way.
Sakurai's still following me.
I think it's fine. The thing is, get in the bag, right? You stay out of the bag. We're doing
As you
an
stay,
experiment.
I will go in. I don't need to breathe.
That's what I just said. You get in the bag, right? You stays out of the bag. Alright, so now let's move 5 feet away. Like no, 10. Let's say 10. So right you can see.
If I had the one chance to go to the Feywild, I would have it right now.
Well, we're not going yet. Okay, we need to be cautious about this one.
As he say this, a man begins to walk out and says, "What y'all doing on my property?"
Oh, I'm not dealing with this today.
Then it's just like slowly like, listen, buddy.
I don't have time for this. Alright, we're trying to figure something out. I'll leave in a minute. Right?
Just like
Figure something out.
the Dangos, he doesn't speak meow.
Leave in a minute. Why are you here in the first place?
Because we're doing something and we accidentally
Loiterers, trespassers.
I will fucking fight you. Do not start shit with me.
do you want to roll an
I
initiative?
will start combat. I roll to initiate combat.
Okay, and to be fair, this guy's a commoner with 4 HP, so...
And I'm gonna use non-lethal damage in Vicious Mockery.
Okay, so you use
That's
non-lethal
what we're starting.
damage.
Wait, give him a moment. Give Raiju a moment to speak.
Alright,
Okay.
speak.
Oh. Your brother is being hunted. By what? Bears? Wolves? Bears? No, we're not doing initiative.
Oh, I thought we were actually gonna fight this guy. Alright, fine.
Well,
fine.
you could potentially fight this guy, but we're not going to bother with initiative, because the combat's going to be over in, like, 1 round. If we did.
Alright, well,
I mean, Raiju's trying to talk to this person. Zokurai, what are you going to do? If you want to fight him, you can fight him, but...
I'll let Ryder try. If he fails, I'm fighting him straight up. I'm gonna do it. So, Ryder, you got 1 shot. Make it count.
He starts getting closer, and he pulls out, he pulls out basically a musket.
No, Ryder, say your piece real quick.
Raiju just gets closer, just like...
He's aiming it at Raiju, specifically.
Oh,
What are you giant hound trying to trick me for? Who's hunting who? You aren't being specific.
Dangos just
Why
speaks
is it
his
my
mind.
business?
Me, you idiots!
we're talking in CAD.
You're in the bag.
In the bag and you're a cat. What would you expect?
He's using telepathy.
Does telepathy work inside of that?
He is technically within 30 feet of the thing. He goes,
Alright.
and Wilbur begins to, because this guy's name is Wilbur Coates. Wilbur begins to shake, goes, "What, ghosts? I'm hearing voices in my head."
Oh my god. Look, old man,
Dangos
everyone's
just-
time.
Dangos just like, Raiju, the potion. Perfume thing. Give it to Zokurai.
Oh, we don't need to waste that. I don't need to waste that on this guy. Look, I'm giving you 2 options, buddy.
He's beginning to shake.
You step
You
down.
don't have to fight.
I don't care. Alright, I'm giving him ultimatums.
You don't have to let this end with bloodshed. We can make this peaceful.
We're not gonna kill him, obviously. Alright? So, let's just civil. Put down your gun, and I won't one-shot you. And we can explain slightly of the situation we're in. And that we just need a minute to test things before we're out of your hair.
Make an intimidation check. I'll roll his insight.
Didn't even finish. Okay. Who's gonna finish? Anyway, what about honor? Honor work?
Yeah, you can roll honor because of the mercantile badge. And he got a nat 20. Like, dang kids, get off my property! And he shoots the air above Raiju and then starts reloading his gun. He purposefully missed, but he says that was a warning shot. Now get out of here.
Dang, listen to Wild Sheep's back. Listen, buddy!
You welch it back while in a bag of holding. It's going to take a full action to get out of there. So you cramped inside a
And
bag
you might
of holding.
want to get out of the bag first. So.
He gets out of the bag that Wild Sheep's back. He's like, listen, buddy.
Alright, well, I'm tired of games.
I'm listening.
I'm tired of being hunted. I'm tired of all this shit. Let's just talk this out peacefully.
It's not gonna work because the intonation was a nat 1, buddy. Anyway, let's see.
Yeah?
Ooh. Right, sorry.
I thought we already did that, but okay, let me know.
Oh,
Sleep all day.
Awesome dad. Okay.
That was my
Anyway.
dad, yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, can I actually wait? Hold on. Let me read the description of one thing. I asked if I can do it.
You don't have that much time, dude. You got like
All
2
right.
minutes.
This is mockery. I wanna use deep speech on accident in vicious mockery and.
Okay. And as this happens, I'll go ahead and yeah. You're going to do this thing. Okay, he needs to make a DC 15 wisdom save. As a reaction, actually hold on. Let me see if he saves this first. 4, he does not. So what does the spell do exactly? Target can hear you, must have disadvantage on the next attack roll before it ends. Alright, and it actually does. Yeah, so that was 2d4. Okay, so he took 3 psychic damage, he's down to 1 HP, and he also used his reaction to fire his gun, this time at Zokurai. And now he'll have disadvantage.
You idiots!
1d20.
Could have ended this without fighting Zokurai.
And I'm going to roll. So he rolled a 1. He rolled a nat 1. So he completely misses and goes wide as he's clutching his head. Goes, ah! What the hell?
I used Cure Wounds on him.
What? No, don't you fucking.
He was backing up. He starts backing up a little bit. Well, actually, sorry, it's not his turn. You're not within touch range currently, Cathangus. Do you want to move up to touch range and use Cure Wounds on him? Okay. Put your token down to do that.
Sorry for my partner's recklessness attitude. Always has to be a better way to fix things, can't it?
Use Cure Wounds, and he's now restored to full HP. I'm not going to have you bother a roll, because I'm pretty sure you just roll high enough anyway. So,
Since sir, all I ask for is shelter. Please, can you do that for us?
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Yeah, no, there's no advantage to this.
Zokurai, if you want to help him with it, you can. That would give him a +5.
Oh, I'm not gonna help.
Okay, so you got a 13. I'm going to roll his insights.
Please get a 20.
He got you.
I want to sneak this drunk. Oh.
So he looks at both of you and says, well, you kids get a move on soon and stop causing trouble, okay?
I'm sorry for how he acted. I promise it's more peaceful.
And stupid youngins with their angelic movements. Get out of here before I decide to shoot you again. And he begins to head back into his cabin.
There has no need to be a fight. After all, there need not be violence in a multiverse where it is possible to have a bit of peace.
Speaking old English and just get to the point of what you're trying to say. Fighting is your point.
You didn't have to goddamn attack him.
Thank you. Plain old English is how I like it. Anyway, or common. Right.
We're still speaking Sylvan, by the way.
Oh, well, I
Any
can
option
understand
of
you clearly.
English is out the question. I spoke English to him.
Alright, not about me.
To be fair, it's common, not English, but yes.
That's why I said I meant common, not. I corrected myself.
Yeah. Which,
You did not have to attack him, is all I'm saying. He was just a defenseless old man.
by the way, I will mention, when he came out and asked him what's wrong, he was speaking Dwarvish.
I don't think any of us understood.
But then he switched to speaking common when he realized none of you understood him.
I could technically use comprehend language and then tongue if I wanted, but
Yeah, but by the time you would have realized that, he already switched to using common, so Either way, he's a dwarf, for what that matters.
oh, that's gonna make things more.
Just an old man. There need not be a reason to fight him.
You guys are just here because you ran here.
Yes, but don't forget
That's
the
like the thing
original.
is like, and there was not really a reason to fight him. We just kind of showed up.
Also, Kathangless, Raiju mentions that it still follow you.
Yes. Doesn't the scry only last 10 minutes?
And yet this one is still following you.
Can you upcast? No, you.
I hate to do this. The English just looks at his hand where the mark is, just like, and I contact Sylvester.
Oh my god. Look, just get in the bag. and then we'll
Zokarai,
stop
why
on.
haven't you just cast a spell on this thing yet?
We tried, remember? And none of us know Dispel Magic.
Really?
Wait,
None of
wait.
you know Dispel Magic.
Wait. Potion. English.
Also,
Give me
you
your
do
potion.
realize...
Wait. The thing is just like looking at his potion that he had. Goes away. Just starts to drink it. Just
Oh, the
come
potion
on.
of Meta Breath that dispels magic, right.
Come on, that was my idea.
Also, you do remember, by the way, that scrying only works on the same plane, and the carriage's interior is a different plane.
I know.
You could technically just go to the carriage, and scrying wouldn't work anymore.
I know. I was trying to like test. Okay, who is the scribe following? I was trying to figure out.
Cathangos just uses his dispelling breath to dispel away the.
So you took a full minute to drink it, and you're going to use your dragon breath, yes? Okay. I need you to make an Arcana check of DC 15.
I don't think you can make it.
He has reasonable Arcana.
Is it still rolling at right?
Oh, you got a 20, so you.
Yeah.
That is Cathangos.
Yeah,
You
I know.
have successfully done it. You have successfully dispelled this sensor. It is no longer here. And Raiju can confirm that fact.
Oh god.
Is it still there?
It was right here, by the way, for reference.
Hmm.
It's not there anymore, though.
Why would anyone want to scry on me?
Oh, there's a bunch of reasons to scry you, Mister. I'm not even gonna say it. This is too open of a space.
Listen, Mr. Plane Shifter, there's a lot more things interesting about you than the change.
We don't talk about any of that publicly. Anyway, well, at least we got the potion idea at the same time. I'll give you credit for that.
I would easily try to eat this, but I'm no full dragon yet.
Eat what? You already
I
drank.
don't know the full dragons could just eat this, right? They don't have to wait a minute.
As this happens, you begin to hear movement from inside the house again.
Let's just leave.
Cathangos just uses off. What is the spell?
What spell?
Misty Step. Good thing it's just Misty Step. So I just let's just go.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
And all of you disappear from the map.
Oh.
So, you all go onto a place that does not currently have a map. So,
Theater of the mind.
either Theater of the Mind or I'm just going to drag you to the generic forest map.
Why don't you just bring it back to the carriage? Imagine after we get out
Yeah,
of
we'll just go
sight.
back to the carriage because remember we did want to invent that one thing. You did intend to do a gun in this book time.
Yeah, it really sidetracks from that to the fucking adventure
Yeah.
we just had.
Indefinite madness. No.
I'm starting to see why Bamir got upset at you, Mr. Shoot First. Ask questions later.
We're really gonna do this? We're really gonna do this?
I
Okay.
figured you want to sidetrack us on another tangent, Fox.
We can do two at the same time. We can craft and talk. So
You can't invent things and do that at the same time, though.
Alright, then I'll just be like, fine, whatever. Usually I talk things out, but we were in a rush. I'll leave it at that.
You could have
I
just
told
easily
you.
talked him down. I have a very high honor.
And you could have just knocked him out, but apparently you didn't think of that either.
Because that's not how I was raised. I was raised to treat people with respect and honor.
Oh, I was not raised to treat people with respect and honor. My survival and my freedom comes first.
And Zokarai, as you're thinking back to your childhood, do you remember that your mother was quite known for ripping some other dragons apart on occasion?
I get the survival from.
You mentioned that to
Taught me
Katanglus?
how to.
You mentioned
Sure,
that?
I'll mention that.
Okay, go ahead and mention that to Katanglus. I'll let you do the dialogue.
My survival and my freedom are the two most important and powerful aspects about me. I won't let
Survive
anything
better upon having your own entire personal army.
Survival of the fittest. That's what works best most of the time.
I thought
I
you were going to
negotiate.
mention your mother thing.
I'm trying to get to the point.
Oh.
Sometimes it's just survival of the fittest. That's the way I was taught. Of course, there's reason. Of course, there's logic. I use those. But when we're in a rush, nothing gets in my way. That's how my mom taught me.
Mom always taught me opposite. Respect the ones in my way and use my wisdom to my advantage.
Seems like a very boring way of dealing. Also
Say boring, I say interesting in a certain way.
inefficient, waste time. We're in a conversation, and it wastes time trying to escape an enemy. Just make them move out of the way instead.
Instead of not having an enemy, you could have an ally.
I doubt we'd make an ally. Simple.
Or no, unless you try. Can ya?
There's always gonna be mistakes. You can make one, I can make one. Doesn't matter. It's our
I
choices.
don't want to talk about my mistakes. I know I've made enough.
Yes. So I realize I can make mistakes too. So you gotta realize it just happens. Why let a little chaos get in the way of the fun? Or the way of my survival? No reason to
Sylvester
be
chimes
party
up
people
and
about it.
says, "Is that why you're interested in wild magic?"
Was too chaotic of a thing. Little control.
I'm somewhat interested in
survivability.
it, but I don't really know what to do with it.
On the other hand, I have a little purpose for it. That's chaotic and I love it. It's hard
My
to
mom would always
control.
tell me a story of how before there was dragons, there was just an endless sea of just magic. Before there was anything, there was magic.
And
The story's kind of interested me.
fair enough. But that's neither here nor there.
Your
Yeah.
mother, from what you remember, Zokoi, your mother was never much interested in history because she said, "Why would I put my face in some old tomes when I could live in the present, here and now?"
A very forward-thinking logic as well, so that fits.
God damn it! Why is Zucker's mom comparing his mom legit opposites?
Because that's how I was raised.
Because that's how their characters are written.
Oh, raised.
Mom always taught me you can learn from the past to become to have a better present to increase your future.
To be fair, the classes that also correspond to your parents are exact opposites too.
Oh my god, yeah, he's a druid and a paladin and shit. I'm an artificer and a sorcerer.
No, I
We
wasn't even
are
talking about
opposites
that. I was
off
talking
the
about the fact
tree.
that she was a druid and a cleric, and your mom, Zokarai,
No, not
was a
cleric, druid and bard.
regardless. She was a druid and bard, and Zokarai's mom was a fighter barbarian.
Wait, did we not matter? Barbarian works. Yeah, sure.
Remember, because her big old thing is that she could do like 24 attacks in one round,
That was because of
multi
yeah,
attack and extra attack. Yeah,
uh yeah, okay, yeah.
and that's
Okay,
without
sorry.
action surge.
Okay. Yeah, barbarian fighter works. Combination. Okay, sorry. Also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drag this out. But I'm just having so much fun with this. That's how I
It's
got
okay
to
that
express
dragged on.
pain.
Get it?
Oh my god. I hate you so much right now, God.
Davis just looks at his arm as it's just like a huge vibe. Just like, this is new, but I started just finding comfort in it.
As this happens, Zokora, you do. There does seem to be somewhat of a dark aura emanating around you, but it feels comfortable to you.
Oh, I like that. But because the Anglers noticed my aura right about now.
Probably. Thangless, are you looking at him? You notice he seems to be a darker tint than usual, and it's not the lighting causing it.
Davis just lets out a tiny chuckle. Oh, so that's what's up with you.
What's up with me?
I thought something was interesting to you when we first met.
What?
I didn't know you were that in the past. Very interesting.
Can I see my own aura or no? Do I just
You
feel
can
it?
see your own aura, yes, and
It's nice to see your true you, Mr. Silverquill.
Hey, wait. How the fuck would he guess that? I don't think he would guess it from that. He could guess I'm a shadow sorcerer, but I don't think he guessed that. Did he?
to be
I don't
fair, that
know.
is
I don't-
kind of a
what-
leap of
what-
logic, Fox. It's kind of a leap of logic.
I'm sorry.
Assume that I'm a shadow sorcerer, but not silver quill. That works.
Either way, you
Anyway.
just assume that there's some darkness about him, but you can't quite put your
Yeah.
finger on what it is. We're not going to jump immediately to that. Which reminds me, I need to talk about some of that stuff. I need to talk about some of that stuff after the stream.
Right. Alright, that works for me.
By the way, I'd say the conversation is coming to the close, unless there's anything else you guys need to talk about.
I'll just wrap it up.
As it is already past my bedtime, so I'd like to get stuff on the road.
Sorry, I really didn't want to go on a tangent, but that was entertaining, so.
It's fine. I'm fine with it. Yeah, that's why I didn't stop it early.
Anyway. Now, darkness is. I'll talk about that later. Now, back to my machines and inventions. New toys. And I will wrap up that conversation. Love that. That's fun. Very, very fun. sorry, that was more understanding than I thought it was gonna be. This is why we do this on stream. This is why we do this on stream because that happens. The entire thing happens.
Yeah,
uh,
and they just came from the whole thing of, hey, do you guys want to do the shopping on camera? And you said yes, and this happened.
Shopping shenanigans!
the dark powers.
I should have renamed the stream to Shopping Shenanigans. I named it Time of Invention because I thought it was supposed to be Time of Invention, but no, it was just Shopping Shenanigans.
I would say adventure than shenanigans because there was some serious moments with the damn scry.
Either way, you have arrived back with the Greenweave, and you have made your way back to the familiar area of the blacksmithing shop. And why did my music stop? I need to turn my music back on.
Yeah, I noticed that stopped too. Also, why did the scrying last more than 10 minutes? Confused.
Your character has no idea why. There is a reason, but your character has no idea why.
Cathangless now.
No,
I don't think anyone would.
Cathangless does not know either.
The only
I can tell you as a player why, but as a character I cannot tell you.
I can guess because there's only one class I can think of that would make it last longer, and that.
I will give you a hint. It's not related to a class.
Oh, then I just don't know.
Oh
I
no.
have no idea. Oh, what do you know and I don't know? You know what?
His character knows nothing. He as a player, he as a DM knows. But
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, how does he as a player know?
he, the player, does not know. He, the DM,
No, Cathangless
knows.
wouldn't know as a player.
All right, then what are you owing about?
Because he, as a DM, does know.
That's what I was saying. As a DM, what the fuck do you know?
I'm not going to discuss it on stream. Yes?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Alright, that's...
Evidently, I'm being a little too loud, so I have to be quieter now.
Sorry.
Because my parents are asleep in the other room.
Forgot about that. Anyway.
So is there a way for me to train have the 13 index?
I thought you already used up all your... We'll discuss that after the stream. Not right now.
Yeah, we'll discuss that.
I'm
later.
sorry, I keep on forgetting that this is not after the stream.
No, we're still on stream. We're still...
Yeah, we just need
I'd
to
like to get
wrap
the
up these
inventing
last
started.
things.
I'd like to get the actual title of the damn stream started.
Oh god. Okay, let's get so how do I weave the clothes? So how do I make the thing?
Well,
The
first
armor.
off, give me the exact stats of what you want in Discord. Give me the precise stats that you want to have.
Right. So I guess it's gonna be a mouthful, but
Don't say it out. Type it out.
I'm typing it.
Because that'll let me determine how feasible this is and what kind of an item it would be. Well, I mean, I know it's going to be a mundane item. My point is going to determine how feasible it is.
I think that's it.
No, I thought you were talking about the gun. Sorry.
No.
Okay, well, while we're crafting this other thing, be thinking about the exact stats that you want for that gun.
Then
By the way, this will be making a set of studded leather out of greenweave, so why is there 2 dreads? Go away. Second dread, please. Thank you.
Dreadnought is twin!
Is it Silvestro just summoning another dread from the elevator? Is this some time shenanigans now?
Oh god,
It's
no,
another
don't
dread.
let him have
Have
time.
an army of dreads.
Anyway, what this is done. It's gun has change. Alright. Let's have the range be change the is to let's go. So
So you want to know the amount of rolls that you have. So it will be for studded leather. It will be rare, uncommon quality, meaning it would be 8 rolls. It'll be 5 smithing. No, it's 12
Jesus!
smithing. 5 leatherworking. 2 tinkers. 1. No. Sorry. 5 leatherworking, 2 tinkers, and 1 arcana check.
So I'm curious of what this is.
It's Ghost. Don't worry about him.
Right there.
Oh,
That's-
so all I saw was just a poofy afro.
It's not a fucking afro. It's hair.
I just got confused. Like, what is going on there?
That looks like straight hair. Anyway. Oh, Zucker might not do well on this one. And let's sacrifice for.
Don't forget, if you hire more than 1 worker, they can just roll for you. In terms of, you can hire more than 1 worker for the leather workers thing to have them roll for you. Otherwise, you're just doing raw sleight of hand.
It's fine. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's fine. Oh, I'll take this. Alright. I'll try my hand in it. We'll go with 5 sleight of hand. Oh, that fails.
Wow. Okay, you rolled nat 1s on every single dice there.
I don't know how. Okay,
Oh,
that's one
question.
fail.
What, Cathingus?
Would it be possible for things to make some kind of ironwood armor for Raiju, or there'd be no need?
Ironwood does not go into studded leather.
For Raiju.
Why would studded leather suddenly be different for one person to another?
Oh, I'm like, wait, does it have to be studded leather? I thought it could be anything.
Studded leather is the best kind of light armor.
Yeah.
Unless you're planning on giving him medium armor.
Oh, no.
By the way, it would use very little ironwood. Also,
Never
by the
mind,
way,
I just meant to ask.
okay, so you need to succeed on 15s or higher.
They're all higher than 15.
However, you need to do another roll because for every one that you fail, you need 2 more successes.
Really? Didn't know that was a rule.
Yep.
Oh, that's the first 30.
No, it's not. It's
No, that's
30.
second 30. That's second 30.
Okay, you failed once. That's good to know. So you failed once, so that's taking an extra half hour. Because I assume you have an assistant here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And now make the 2 tinkers and 1 arcana.
I think is gonna. This should actually be good at it.
And yes, Cathingus, but you're going to be helping with the druid craft. You're also going to be helping with some ironwood in this.
Okay.
Because
Shit.
there are some tiny pieces of metal used in studded leather, so you can have ironwood in those cases. And then 1 arcana. Okay, so how
Damn.
many 30s or higher did you have?
I only had 2.
Then it's not mastercrafted.
That's a first. Damn. I
Yeah.
might be losing my touch.
To be fair, it's you're using a set of tools that you are not proficient in, so that's part of why.
Right.
By the way,
I need to get better at leatherworking.
you have successfully made Fred a set of arcane armor, green weave studded leather. I assume you also dragon forged it, right?
Yes.
What type of scales did you use on it?
Radiant.
Hey, when did Cathingus give you his scales?
You made a deal, remember? I gave you my scales for the force.
I never took your scales.
Yes, you did. We made an agreement on that.
I'm sorry, I was just trying to think of when that happened.
You know, we had a whole agreement.
I mean, I could gladly give the scales. I just didn't know when you gave me your scales.
Or the Shillelagh. And that was it, really. It's an exchange.
Okay, and now I'm looking at the gun thing, and that all seems pretty fine. Um, I honestly think you could do a little bit more than that if you wanted to, but that's
I
fine
was,
as is.
I was just trying to be realistic and not overstep my boundary.
Well,
Or,
here's the thing: how advanced are so? We're going to say this is what the prototype looks like, and then you could make a maybe a more advanced form later once you know the prototype actually works.
and by me.
So you are making a prototype sniper rifle,
Correct.
meaning that you are basically inventing rifling because rifling does not exist as a concept yet. So
Oh, I'm
effectively,
not.
so effectively, what you're making is a rifle. You're effectively making the first world's first rifle.
Yep. And I'm not selling that to anybody. Not the war. No
Right.
bill.
Though you might want to get a patent on it at some point.
Oh God. We can just time skip that one. I'm not having a second meeting over another patent.
Oh no, I didn't think you would be. And honestly, to be fair, given the fact that this might take place before that, you might have just gotten both patents at once.
Right. Let's just say
You
that
need
for
to get a
convenience
patent for
sake.
Cathanglis.
Why? What was the thing with the patent for? I'm just curious.
Anna. Potion.
Oh, right, the man potion. Would you do that at the same time, Zogray? Because technically, you as his employer would be the one that need to go do that.
Uh, if he actually wants it patented, but that's out of his paycheck, or he's paying for it straight up. So
It's
that's
500 gold pieces, Cathingless.
That's what I said. I said I need to save up for a patent.
Ah,
so you
okay.
already got. Well, actually, we have to read you the math of that tomorrow, anyway. So
Yep,
all the
fair.
money.
Anyway, so start inventing. So it will only require for okay. This is going to be a mundane item, which would normally only require 4 rolls. However, I will be bumping up the difficulty up to an uncommon item. So even though it's a mundane item, I'll be bumping up the difficulty up to an uncommon item. Does that
Amazing.
sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna have to actually no. I think I'll bump up a little bit higher. I'll bump it up to a rare since you're inventing this thing. And that'll
Sure.
represent your entire process of invention, trial and error, and all that stuff.
By me.
You have an assistant here. This is actually important because any assistant you had will also have knowledge of it now.
No.
Okay.
No, Cathanglis is the only one that knows.
No, not even you're getting the beauty of this thing. Get out.
If you're making it partly out of ironwood, yeah, he is
He
gonna.
knows.
I didn't say I was gonna make this out of ironwood.
Is Cathanglis going to be involved in this?
No.
Okay. So, how are you gonna get him to leave the room?
He's not gonna move.
Well, then I'm plane shifting to. Oh, yeah, I'll just plane shift to a different place.
Okay. Where you go?
The kids sniffing area.
That's not where I thought you would go. Okay.
Actually, wait, does my father have a smithing place in his old?
Yes, your father has a workshop. That's what I thought.
There, I'm going there. I'm going there then. Yeah,
Okay.
he's old
Well,
there.
Cathanglis, he disappears from out in front of you and takes Dread with him.
To be fair, Cathanglis still has the thing that he never saw the mana potion, so he has his own thing. He has his.
I
Okay.
saw it is man potion.
So I don't have a workshop for your dad. Let's see if I can find a sample map that can be good enough.
We can just let's just theory of the mind it because it's late for you.
Yeah, we'll just theory to the mind it. So you end up in this place, and you look around, and you see a lot of your dad's old tools and inventions sitting there. And one of the ones you see is a set of blueprints that he used to have for some weird metal tube with like spirals carved inside of it.
Hmm.
and you don't quite know what it is, but you know that based off of what you know from a musket, that this is probably some kind of weird gun, and you wanted to try it for Zokurai, and not for Zokurai, for Dread.
So I'm not totally inventing this one very well.
Yeah, you're not completely new. You have your dad's old blueprints.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's take the checks. The checks. No, no,
Are you asking me a question?
I'm just I'm asking what the checks are.
Oh, okay. So the checks will be it'll be 4 Tinker's tools, 3 Smith's tools. Sorry, no. 4 Tinkers, 2 Smiths, 1 Wood Carvers, and one. Actually, sorry. Two Wood Carvers.
Wait, so
I will
running
accept
through
carpentry if you do not have Wood Carvers. You don't have to make an Arcana since this is not a magic item.
oh, right.
Arcana is only
Carpentry.
required on magic items. And assuming you're not infusing this thing since you're making a prototype.
Right, it'd be too experimental. I don't want to break the only one I have. I'm trying to make.
Right.
All right,
This
so
will
run through
cost you
the.
some base material, though. Keep that in mind. This will cost you 10 gold pieces in base material.
That's fine by me.
And that's representing the fact that you use and break some of the material along the way, sort of thing, before you get to
Right.
finished product.
Right. All right. So one more time, what are the checks?
4 Tinker's Tools, 2 Smith, 2 Woodworkers. Wood Carvers. However, I will accept Carpentry instead,
Uh,
if that's
Here's the
easier.
thing. Please have a reference. I know it's 4 tankers. All right. Um, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I believe all of that is a pass. Yeah, all of that's a pass.
What tank is this?
One of that is Master.
Wait, really? Oh, all right.
Well, because you need to get 15 or higher.
Oh,
Because it's
right.
uncommon. Remember?
All right. Right. What's the next one? Uh,
Your next one would be 2 smithing checks.
1, 2.
Okay. And then it would be 2 wood carvers or carpenters.
Dex. Sleight of hand or something.
Do you have well, those can be either dex or intelligence. Or wisdom.
Dex intelligence or wisdom. Let me use my
Wood
intelligence.
carvers goes off wisdom.
What?
Wood carvers actually go for wisdom.
Wood carvers can go off of either dex or any knowledge stat. I would accept either intelligence or wisdom.
I'll go with intelligence. Rock.
No, I just go with wisdom for you, Cathanglis, because wisdom is your highest stat.
I'll just use, for the sake of
Wisdom and
math
charisma are my
reasons,
2 highest stats.
for the sake of math reasons, I'm just gonna use um history just to make it easier for the rolls. We don't have to count and all that. Okay, this is just
Oh,
raw.
I actually found a map for your dad's old workshop, or kind of one.
1, 2. You said 2. Oh shit! I failed 1.
You rolled history.
I know that was the point because that's the same as my intelligence. I just didn't want to have to do the math for the other 2 things.
Can't you just
Okay,
like
that's-
set it? Also, here. Here's actually a map for your thing, and let me turn off dynamic lighting.
Please do. That's
Okay,
Alright, let's see.
that works.
Oh,
You
not half bad. Shabby.
keep in mind this is on the Dragon Con, not in Guardiana at all.
Not half bad.
Yeah.
You could use some sprucing up a little here and there, but considering it's abandoned, works fine.
Yeah, it's just his little home away from home. This is the first workshop he ever had, and he just kind of maintains it for nostalgic reasons more than anything else.
Right.
Currently, I would say Zokurai is like right here ish, working on stuff.
Alright, let me place him down as well.
And then, yeah, you see like all the stuff I was describing, like over here and stuff. Because, like, for example, here's where the battle pit should be, just laying there.
This is a good reference.
Yeah. This is kind of generally what I had in my head, but yeah, this works.
Anyway. Oh, did I just break a thing? Let me think. Oh god. It just broke my thing. Hold on, I gotta refresh. Rain. They might have accidentally broke a thing on my side of things. Okay, fix it. Alright.
Also, by the way, this is definitely a way down to a lower level, though I don't know where that goes. And
we can say it's something I didn't explore or something.
it's something you have not explored yet, and it's boarded up, which is a bad sign.
No, that's concerning. I'm going in with all my weapons if I go down there later.
Yeah, and you don't want to go down there. You even sometimes wonder if you've heard banging noises.
Oh, hey, Dad, dear old Dad, what the?
Yes.
Well, I failed one of my intelligence checks, so
You have to make 2 more successes.
all right, please, I don't want to.
Okay.
All right,
You know
that's
what they
fine.
say,
I
measure.
passed. I passed.
Yep, you know what they say, measure twice, cut once.
That's the first time I've heard of that.
That's a pretty common saying that I've heard a lot growing up.
Yes, it actually is. Measure twice, cut once.
Wow, I am just uncultured.
It's basically a saying that you can measure a lot more times than you can cut. So it's better to measure twice and cut once rather than measure once and end up having to cut twice.
Right, no, I got the point. I was just like, wow, I've never heard that saying.
Yep.
Very common.
I think it's a different expression for me that I've heard, but I just don't remember it. Anyway, alright, so I did my intelligence checks. What's next?
All right. You have now successfully made something. You hold this up and it kind of looks like a musket, except it's more streamlined and has a spiral in it. And it also, instead of like loading bullets in normally, it has like a clip that you stick in the top of it. That, and you realize, and you also made a few pieces of ammunition with it too. And you give Dread, well, okay, you have this thing, and it's meant for Dread.
Right.
Do you give it to him to go try and shoot? There's currently, each clip has 5 bullets, so you can give him a clip of bullets if you want to go check it out.
Alright. Wait a second. Also, how do you make it to where Dex affects the AC armor? Ask me.
Of what?
Of armor.
It should just be a natural part of armor. What, are you trying to make your own custom armor on your statue?
Oh no. I'm just trying to figure that out because I
Basically,
I
if you label it as light armor, Dex will fully affect it.
oh, alright. How do I label it as light armor? Oh light I put in the modification. Alright. It's or and then enter, and increase it by sodium. I guess that didn't. Anyway, actually, how much of AC is the base of the green leaf armor? Uh,
Um, something to mess with later.
alright, sorry. I'm not trying to get off track. I'm just trying to make sure I don't do the math.
But you also did you drag and drop from the compendium?
I don't know. I tried to search it before. Let me again.
Studded leather.
Oh, studded leather itself. So it just takes the same stats as studded leather.
It has the same stats as studded leather, and then you just add in the green weave, add in the DF, add in the MS. So you just add in, the extra +2 to AC on top of.
I'm just trying to get the. I before I do anything stupid.
And then we edit this from that to 1.8 or whatever the weight is.
I'm just trying to get this out of the way. That's +1. Then I master test it too.
+2 AC. There we go. It wasn't master crafted, remember?
Oh yeah, it wasn't. Okay, I was just trying to make sure.
Okay, that, and then. Oh, wait. No, that is actually not properly working. Okay, so it does have to go here.
Yeah, that's why I put the +1
+2
AC.
+2 AC. We have to put a comma there.
Yeah, that's what I do. And
It's not showing up, though. It's the issue.
oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's not
No.
doing it. Is it supposed to be AC +2 instead of +2 AC?
Yeah, it's AC +2. That's how I did it. AC.
Now it's doing it. By the way, that's the point. You gotta go have him shoot his
sorry.
rifle.
Sorry. I just need to make the thing for the rifle. Copy all this. I like to be accurate. And a 2 8 and rifle.
And then you need to click the thing that says has an attack so that it shows up as one of his attacks.
Oh, how do you do that?
I clicked on it already, and now it showed up as one of his attacks.
Okay. Why is it negative?
Because it's currently using his strength value instead of dexterity.
Oh, that's 2d8. And then I'll make an other version of it later.
You still didn't modify this so it uses dex.
Oh. Okay.
That also adds in dex.
I didn't mean to press that shit. No, I did not mean to press plus either. That was good. There. So I'll make that later. Let's just test how much damage it should do.
Alright, well, we're not necessarily rolling damage, we just so he goes out shooting, he starts shooting that log. Fires 4 shots. Fires 5 shots. So there's the first one.
First,
Did you track and forge this thing, by the way?
uh,
I'm gonna
I
probably
not-
say yes.
yeah, I would. Well, no, it's a prototype. Let's say no because
Okay.
I don't want to accidentally overdo.
Fair
Okay.
enough. So you did not. So yeah, it's a 16 piercing as it rips into the target. Fire 4 more times.
Uh, let's try a test run of the sharpshooter version of. I'll do quick. I'm
Okay. Trying to get to a cool thing, but
I'm quick, and then D8, and then Pierce. Piercing. Alright, now, cool things you want to do.
okay. No, keep firing.
Alright, let's try the sharpshooter variant. Oh God. Oh
He just rolled bad. That's the main reason why that happened, because he rolled bad. So
yeah.
it goes wide.
You know what? For curiosity, let's see the damage. Oh, oh God. That's a lot of damage.
By the way, keep rolling.
Let's try a normal round. I'm just he's just missing.
Yeah, that would have been a crit though.
Alright, let's try another sharpshooter round. Oh my God. Alright.
Maybe you need to improve the accuracy of the gun a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
you got one more round in the clip.
Oh wait, didn't I add a thing where there was a increase perception? Yeah, advantage on perception.
I would you for a prototype?
Sorry. Oh my God, there is pity luck here. Okay,
All right.
one more. Say one more.
No, I said there's 5 rounds in the clip. Pat, you just shot 5 rounds.
Oh, I didn't know.
Anyway, as this happens, and he fires 5 rounds, you hear a very distinctive and loud ping noise as it flies out of the gun, as the clip flies out of the gun. You effectively invented an M1 Garand.
What is that?
A very famous type of rifle that I thought you would ooh and ah at. Never mind. Well, there goes my
I
cool
don't know
moment.
guns well.
Because Zokarai doesn't know his guns.
I don't. Player doesn't. Sakurai probably would know this better than me. Anyway, it's fine.
Looking up on the stream. This rifle.
Oh.
Like one of the most famous rifles from World War One.
I've seen that.
You effectively invented an M1 Garand. And it has a very distinctive ping noise that it makes when it reloads, which is what I was trying to get to.
Oh, there's a bling.
Yeah.
Load faster. Oh, that classic little thing. Alright. Makes sense. Alright, that makes sense.
Here, let's play a video of it.
But the video
Yeah.
could be flagged.
Oh. Maybe let's a gift? What about a gift? Oh, I hear the sound. Oh, there's that.
Yeah, that's the noise.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Noisy, but cool.
That was the noise.
That-
I wanted. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you basically just made the world's first M1 Garand. However, it's a prototype, so it's not very good. But you made it. It's now there.
Hey, it's better than what I had before
So-
with the musket.
Do you want to try and make a refined version by going back in the workshop and working on it again?
Later. At a later date, I feel like I need to make schematics to make an improved version of it.
Okay. Did you make the scope as well?
That I guess I'll make now because there'd be no reason to.
Yep. Go ahead, make 4 Tinker's Tools checks. Sorry, actually no. 2 Glass Blowers checks and 2 Tinker's Tools checks.
Finally, making use of my glass blowing potential.
Yeah.
1, 2.
It's just my head cam, by the way, of what Cathangos is doing in the meantime. He's just making his potions.
I figured this is when you did your potion escapade.
You said 2?
That's 2 Glass Blowers, 2 Tinkers.
Mastercraft. But alright, it's fine.
You did actually mastercraft this because
Wait,
it was only a
really?
DC 10 check, and you got 2
Oh.
degrees higher.
Oh. Okay.
So-
Oh.
We'll go ahead and say, by the way, when you mount a scope on a rifled weapon, it provides +2 accuracy to that weapon. And a Master
Oh.
Crafted scope applies the bonus that Master Crafted normally applies for bonuses to accuracy. So
Well.
basically, you know how a shield is a +2 to AC? A scope is a +2 to accuracy when it comes for a rifle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so it is now a scoped M1 Grand instead of just a regular M1 Grand.
Okay.
So,
Uh,
you now have a scope, and there's basically, I assume you're doing the middle variant.
what variant? Okay.
Here's something to consider. The scope doesn't really get much wear and tear. So what qualifies as quote 10 impacts?
When actually that's a good question because it doesn't really get destroyed unless it gets hit.
I thought an impact was just something hitting it.
An impact is either something hitting it or it being used.
And I guess it being like and it being used.
But technically it's the gun being used, not the scope. Though you could say that the gun jiggle is what's causing it. So either way, we're just gonna go ahead and say every time you fire the gun it counts as a use on it. So do you want it to be the
Alright.
middle variant, the 20 uses, the 10 uses, or the 50 uses?
I feel like I'm gonna shoot this more than 20 times in the battles. We're gonna have consistent battles, I imagine. So I'll go with the 50 variant. I can always change it later.
Yes, but you have mending.
You have mending, yes, but also do keep in mind that even for
It's a
the
minute.
maximum performance variant, that's 10 uses, that's 10 shots, which how many battles last long enough to get 10 shots off? Especially considering that Strad is planning on being super stealthy and doing stealth hits. Stealth shots.
And okay, then I guess he's gonna make every bullet.
So I would personally vote doing the performance version and just, fixing the scope after you're done. Because it's not like the scope will stop working. It'll still provide a +2 to accuracy even after the 10. It just won't be providing +5.
Very well. Alright, then. Uh, sure. Works for
Is
me.
there anything else you would like to do on stream?
No, that sounds about it.
Cool. Thank you all for watching. If indeed you still are, for those of you on YouTube, goodbye. For those of you on stream, stick around. We're going to go rain someone. Goodbye.
Sorry, stream. Goodbye.